Oh, the bash bait has such teeth, yeah, and it shows its pearly whites. Good evening, Oisin.
Well, hey.
We're back. What are we
I feel like I haven't spoken to you in ages, man. You know, this podcast is fucking up our friendship. You do realize that?
Why do you say that? Oh, because we don't chat like girls on the phone.
We leave it all to the podcast.
I know, right? He's like, shut up. Don't say that now on the phone. We
'cause
save that for bashers.
It kept happening. We'd have a phone call and it would turn into a 3-hour chat of just unbelievable gold nuggets
that we don't have live. Yeah.
Why didn't I record this? So now it's gone in such a direction that we're like, let's not speak until the podcast. Oh boy. How are you, man?
I'm Grant. Yeah.
Is it cold in New York or warm?
It's 75 degrees. It was 80 degrees today for the New York Marathon.
But it's been going up and down, right? It's typical New York.
It's been warm the last several days. I went to a wedding last night out on Long Island. My cousin's daughter. It was a lovely wedding. Congratulations, Leah and Dan. It was lovely. And it was summertime. Wow. It was absolutely golden, gorgeous. And today, not good for the runners because, of course, the heat is their enemy. Yes. It was not great for them. And it rained for a little while. I was at work, so I saw it through the window. Everybody was out for their last hurrah. So I got there at 9:30 this morning, and I texted you when I was on my way. I was like, we were trying to figure out what time to start bashing. It's like, I won't be home till 5-ish. And it started to rain, and 9:30 in the morning, I was making espresso martinis for people. I was like, you guys are fucking legendary. It was unbelievable.
That'll kickstart the day.
But it was kind of over early. It was kind of over early. They stopped drinking.
Because they only have a few hours in them.
Yeah, and we've also changed time too.
Yeah, and we've switched times too. That hit me harder this year.
Hit everybody hard this year.
Why is that?
And meanwhile, you're getting an extra hour for you, technically.
Yeah,
not at the end of the day.
Getting an extra hour, but it felt funny this time. I mean, I guess it always feels funny. Apparently, when it does the other switch earlier in the year, 6 months back, that first Monday is the highest rate of car accidents and heart attacks.
Oh, great.
Isn't that funny? Because people are just disoriented and a tad stressed. It knocks them off their rhythm.
Huh. That is intriguing. Yeah. What say you, bashers? How was your transition? Who's in the house? We've got Steve and Roy the
knocked himself off.
Hey, Des, Hans, Niesentoss, Seven Rivers. We've got Nathaniel, as always. Good to see you, bloke. Jay Kidd, Jared Lee, Dirk Diggler. What's up, sluts? What's up, whore? Le Carré, Andrew Wolkovich. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you. Ticking time. Lux Report. M8324. Just reminds me of Star Trek Species 8426. The ones that could destroy the only race that knew how to take care of the Borg. Which is
yes.
It was good. Voyager.
Resistance is futile.
Except they were just like... And of course, Janeway was like, "What? How the fuck did they do that?" And of course, the lovely, talented, and most gorgeous Carolyn Merton is here. Scott Wexland. Hey guys, Dwayne Durham, Solvents. Burton Dundee, The Watch Apprentice, Ticking Time. Hey, you know who gave us a shout out?
Who's that?
Andy from the English Watch.
Oh, really?
He did. It was cute. He goes, he was doing his bit, his very proper British bloke thing, and he goes, special shout out thanks to Oisin and the musician friend, I don't remember his name, blah 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 blah, for because we mentioned him last week, or we did the last time we did.
We did.
So I said a little introduction. Hey, I said, hey, love your show, watch every episode. I'm Machine's musician friend, Dirk.
Well, he's a big speedy nut, so you guys.
He is. I love him. And that guy had a heart attack.
He did.
And he's like, I've said before, and don't be embarrassed. Sorry to say this, but I said he's a total ride.
Which just proves you're gay. It just
whatever.
When you come out with stuff like that, I'm like, okay, he's definitely gay.
Well, because you don't see,
he's
not Brad Pitt.
Because he's not. I'm expecting you to just, Liam
Helmsworth guys, right? Which is like, to me, like looking at dishwater. I don't care. Couldn't care less.
It just proves it, man. If there were ever any doubt, which I'm not sure why there would be, but I figure maybe it happens in heterosexual minds. They always think, is he bluffing, or did he go through a childhood trauma?
They're making a bloke. He's a great looking. He's a man.
Well, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you.
Pretty does nothing. I couldn't care less. It's like I said. It's like pretty to me is dish. I'm not looking. It's like fake meat, right? I'm a vegetarian for almost my entire life, since I'm very young. And I'm not looking for impossible burgers. I'm not looking for the best, closest thing to pussy. I'm not. I'm looking for the thing that isn't that. And like fake meat.
When vegetarians make a burger, you're like,
I don't want something that bleeds. No, it's gross. I don't eat meat for reasons like that. I just think they're gross. But it's funny. I don't know if I have it here. What did I do with it? I'll look for it in a minute. But something funny happened.
Before I forget, I want to do a little quick mention. Shout out to Carolyn Martin and Gary. Gary, that's her husband, who was a little ill and went in for a quick surgery. They were both supposed to be coming to Venice, I believe, in a week's time or something, and it's now been postponed. I said, listen, Venice will be here whenever you need it. Don't worry. It's not going anywhere.
It's not sinking.
If you waited 100 years, it might not be around. But if you do it within the next while, you'd be fine. But anyway, I hope you get well soon, Gary.
Indeed. We hope he's very well and recovers very swiftly. And you get the big ride on the gondola or whatever it is that tickles your Venetian fancy. Lots to do there, but mostly hanging out with Oisin.
Yes, certainly. Right? Drinks on me.
Drinks on him. That's for sure.
And dinner and whatever else I can do.
If the weather's good, you'll get some great al fresco.
Well, right now is kind of interesting weather. It's a little chilly. It's finally turned a little chilly, but it's kind of nice. I think if they're going to postpone, they should wait till the weather comes back. Maybe on the other side.
Yeah.
Maybe, but that's, up to you guys. Anyway, just what happened? You said something funny happened.
I can't find it now.
I
wanted to say what had happened to... Anyway, I showed it, and I didn't realize it. The moon botch, the fucking bezel came off it, and I didn't realize it. It's gone.
The bezel came off your moon
botch? The tachometer is gone.
Oh, it was at work. It was at work.
Definitely.
You banged it off something. Yeah.
Something
just went flying.
I looked at it, and I went, and you know how I noticed it? And meanwhile, I'm like talking about it on the last broadcast, and there was no bezel on it.
Really? It's been gone that long? You didn't notice?
I didn't. I actually stopped wearing it. I've been wearing the real Speedy because I've just been in the mood for the authentic, the real McCoy. Sure. They're selling them in Grand Central. They're there. They have them. They have them all. Apparently, and I went in there.
Word is in New York, I've been hearing this as well, that finally the fanatics have finally gotten all the pieces they wanted. And now. So you went in?
I went in and I was looking at the case. Oh, here's my cat who vomited before and I was very upset. Hello, honey. She's early, but she was alone for 9 hours today. That's why she's going to be a little clingy, and that's okay. Paul was out with his family and I was at work. So I was like looking at the mercury and I went to compare them and I went, oh my God, the bezel's gone. The tachometer's gone. It just came off.
Does it look better now?
No, it just, it just looks like a watch.
That could happen to even the real ones,
It sure could.
Pieces are falling off the real ones too. I think
Ooh.
there's a lot of people out there. I'm getting a lot of kickback, a lot of backlash from, because bit by bit, I'm making videos about the planets and the watch that's dedicated to the planet.
Yeah.
I'm not really talking about the watch or the size of the measurements or, how it feels and how it looks. Not really. I'm staying on the theme that they started on, returning to what was the original interesting thing about it before the frenzy that kind of got us all distracted.
The thing that made Nick take notice. He loved what you were doing.
Yes.
That's what he loved.
Yeah, Dirk is referring to the head of Swatch Group, Nick Hayek, who saw the Saturn video. I just tagged them as well. I just put out the Uranus one last night. So hopefully.
Oh, did you? I didn't see it yet. Oh, shit. I'll have to watch it.
It's nice. Yeah, check it out.
Sure, it's nice.
It's not quite as glorious and as huge as the other one, but that's okay. The other one was the first one. But I get a lot of pushback because people they can't help themselves, They can't just say, oh, that was an interesting video. They have to say, the watch is terrible. That's such an abomination. And it's a piece of plastic crap. And I wouldn't use it to wedge a door. And I'm just like, yeah, guys, I know. You think I don't know that?
They're fun, guys. They're fun.
It's just a little fun. It's all. One guy made a very good point and said they should be $99, not $249.
Agreed.
Okay, that's kind of agreed.
That would be
making
great.
them for $5 a pop or whatever. Should be
not even
$99. But
they're making them for 63 cents.
Right, or whatever they're popping them out for. Yeah, I'm sure there was plenty of R&D originally, and those people have to be paid. I mean, after all, they did figure out, the characteristics of the planets. There must have been several meetings. Anyway, I'm just getting a lot of that pushback. Yeah. So, but what was my point? Now I can't even remember.
Your point was that AP is glittering like your point was your AP is glittering like an Abu Dhabian wife on her way to the market. Just look at the thing. It looks like it's made out of diamonds. It's ridiculous.
I think T and Tickers or Ticking Time was asking earlier what I'm wearing. Yes, I'm wearing the AP Royal Oak Chrono, the previous one, not the 50th anniversary. And I'm making a video on why this is the better one, because it's so much slimmer. The new one is a thicker watch, and I always prefer a slimmer watch. So it's just so much more elegant.
So what it's not a great watch for black fellas, then.
Why?
Because they like a little more junk going on.
They like a little thick.
They like it thick, baby.
Yeah, they like thighs. They like thick.
Right. That one's not doing it.
That's not doing it. No, it's a little anemic.
Has AP permeated the hip hop world in any capacity?
Completely.
Oh, it has.
Oh, completely. I mean, AP was the next in line. And now it's all bust down APs.
That's the last line. It's a Dio song.
Oh, it's a Dio song. It's like AP. I guess it was mentioned in some rap song. Anyway, they've gone ballistic. Patek to a lesser degree, although Patek is definitely in there, and of course Rolex preceded that. But I don't think Vacheron reached them at all.
They don't know what that is yet.
They don't know what it is until someone.
Because nobody could say
we're awful. We're terrible.
Yo, I want that.
Nobody can say I'm not gay anyway either, right?
What's an Audemars Piguet, baby? That's horrible. And that's a Vacheron Constantin.
Constantine. They all say Constantine.
Meh. Vacheron Constantin. Anyway. We've got our first super chat. It's Benjamin. £8.99. Hey Shane, greetings from Ben from Birmingham, UK. Still remember that night at my hotel 2 weeks ago. Did you guys have a tryst? What happened? Tell us.
I don't know what that joke is about.
Still remember that night at my hotel. Were you you're from Birmingham, so were you just hanging out?
Excuse me, I know exactly who this is and what it is. Okay. This guy came to Venice.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't cop who the name was. I at first. There's so many names. Yes, that sounds funny though, doesn't it? That was the night we crashed that party. He was staying at the Pisani, I think.
Oh,
and we crashed that party, and I met all those interesting folk.
Nice.
And we drank free at the bar. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah, that was fun. How are you, man? Thanks for the super chat, my friend.
Great bands out of Birmingham. Great music from Birmingham. Who's the greatest band ever to come out of Birmingham, everybody? Ready?
Probably Sabbath.
Of course.
Are you impressed that I know that?
Well, no, of course you know that.
Usually information you would know.
No, but you would know Sabbath.
I would know Sabbath.
That's not like, the fucking... What is that band that was huge in UK and Ireland that made no dent anywhere else? The Stone Roses.
Oh, really?
Are they from there too? I think they are.
I don't know.
Do you know who they are? You know who they are, right?
Yes. Neil McCann said Duran Duran. Are they out of Birmingham?
Absolutely, 100% Duran Duran.
You see, I don't know that. You see,
yeah.
but I know that.
Yes, Dirk loves fucking Duran Duran. Fucking love
amazing songs.
Great band. Simon Le Bon sounds like Simon Le Bon at 20 right now.
The guy is from Manchester.
Are they from Manchester? Oh, jeez. Yeah. Are they?
Well, but it's the same guy. Why did you throw us a curveball there? Just playing with us?
How come they don't talk like they're from Manchester? Manchester's got that weird lilt. They don't do that, do they? I have to Google this shit now. Fuck.
Yeah, you'll have to find it.
I mean, I hate to do that to you, Benjamin. But Duran Duran, hold on. He's probably right, though. Duran. Duran Duran. Birmingham. Formed in Birmingham in 1978. Benjamin?
Oh, no, we're getting it all out of... He's trying to have a conversation with us that is not a proper, linear conversation. He's talking about the Stone Roses.
Oh, Stone Roses. Okay. Yeah, they would be from Manchester. And I don't know anything about them, but people say that they had their heads so far up their own arse that they would spend $500,000 on demos, and the record company would pay for it because everybody thought they were the next big golden gods.
I remember those days, yeah.
And apparently they weren't, right?
Dirk Diggler in with the digs. Dirk Diggler, it's all about digs. You look sober today.
You do.
No, that's a rarity. That's a rare. I am actually, but I've just poured some whiskey. I'm going to light up a cigar. So enjoy it while it lasts, guys, because I'm not in the mood to be sober till it's already 20 past midnight here. So, let's start with Archie.
Yeah, hold on one second. Just to give Hans a quick heads up. He says, "What, Stone Roses? No. Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? No. They just were nobodies. You'd have to have your ear to the grindstone. No one's ever heard of them. Like no one's ever heard of Robbie Williams here, except for me. So, yeah.
Breaking the American market is a whole other thing. But it's not unusual. It's not unusual.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
It's not unusual for Brits in particular to have that insular thing that Americans have. That quite often they accuse the Americans of having, of thinking that everybody knows who their TV personalities are and their stars. It's like, no, a lot of stuff never makes it across the pond. It's a funny thing.
It doesn't.
And sometimes for good reason, to be honest.
Yeah, Taylor Swift is huge everywhere. For unknown reasons to God.
By the way, she's top 10 literally
every single song. But that doesn't make any sense. Did she release every single song as a single?
She must have.
She must have, because that's the only way. That's the criteria. I'm saying she did that so she could buy the top 10. She did it on purpose to buy the top 10 on Billboard. Because that's what kind of artist she is.
It's a
stunt. And it's gross.
You don't like her. I don't.
I think she's shite.
I don't mind her. I don't have an aversion to her, but
I think she's offensive. I think because people think she's Carole King. And I'm like, she's not Carole King, guys.
They don't have a Carole King. The people who think she's Carole King don't know who Carole King is. This is all they have. This is the new stuff they have. Yeah. A lot of people are discovering Kate Bush now, and they think it's an artist from now.
Good.
They don't know it's a song from 1986 or 85 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not their fault for not knowing. It's a whole younger generation. But anyway, she writes perfect pop songs, I think. And look, I'm a red-blooded male. Every time I see Taylor Swift with the legs, man.
Oh, you want to hit that? Okay.
Just long legs, man. It's just, wow, am I going to look away? It's beautiful long legs. Beautiful girl.
Here's Dirk Diggler, $5, but at least he pays for his insults. I'll say that much.
Yes.
If Sheen, when I come to Venice, I want to hang. Will you sign my Mr. North CD that I picked up at a yard sale today for 50 cents? You know, Sheen is not signing CDs anymore, but I'll sign a Hitman one for free.
You know, strangely, the Mr. North CDs went up on months. This happened months ago, 8 months ago or something. On eBay, they were all going for 25 quid, and people were writing, "This is the dude from YouTube. This is his band." Yeah,
that's cool.
I have a Mr. North CD somewhere. I don't know where it is, and I bought it off eBay myself a few years ago for like $6 because I didn't have one. I was like, "How do I now have my own records?" But I was
because you give them all away.
Like listening,
that's what we do. Give them away.
Yeah, when people ask, no, but I bought. Was it Life Size? When Life Size came out, I was in California. I went into Tower Records in Costa Mesa, and I bought the damn thing for $17.99 because it was the quickest way of seeing the record and hearing the record. You know.
Wow.
There's another one, Dirk Diggler. But you're right, Dirk. You can probably find one for 50 cents at this point. Sorry, I just skipped Nathaniel, $2. Taylor Swift re-recorded my catalog. Yes, you did, so she could have
good for her. I'm proud of her for that because she's doing what Prince should have done.
Yeah, exactly. Prince could have gotten out of his situation there. I do want to bring up Prince a little bit later in the chat, and Andrew, of course. The man, Andrew Walkowicz.
The legend.
A girl at work had her aunt visiting from Italy. Her aunt walked over to introduce herself. I said, "Nice to meet you, Bonnie Journal." I'm Andrew Walkowicz. Gave her a wink and went back to work. The girl told me her aunt says I'm funny and handsome. Well, I'm sure you are, Andrew. Very funny and very handsome. And also very generous.
Thank you. You are very generous. Bonnie Journal.
Funny Journal.
That's funny.
So onto a slightly dark thing. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but you heard that Archie was robbed. We have to mention it. You know, he's the pontiff. He was our first guest on our first episode
Tragic.
of Bashers.
Gross and calculated. And so
yes, calculated. I would say, very much so.
They were waiting for him to go on that trip, obviously. Right. Listen, I've watched a bit of it, and I've watched a bit of Tim, and I don't know who's trying to get bigger ratings or what. I know Archie did a GoFundMe, and it was considered unsavory because
was it?
Well, I mean, a GoFundMe is when your daughter has cancer or when you were in a typhoon. It's not because you lost your luxury goods. You don't do that. Okay. You don't do a GoFundMe because somebody stole my Porsche.
Even when your entire collection though was
stolen? No. I mean, and you don't.
I mean, I understand the backlash that's time against poor Brittany.
I mean, I love you, Archie, but anyway, he's rectified that situation. He basically retitled it. First, he was like, "Help me get my collection back," and then he switched the GoFundMe to "Help me restore my studio" because they ransacked and they destroyed his safe. I don't know what they did. I watched that video. I mean,
they couldn't get in through the main door. They're amateurs, and there's glass on the inside, like all good safes, and the kind of cracks, and then the whole system goes on lockdown. So they decided to saw in through the top, like with some sort of power drill thing or something, and they made up kind of a whole like 6 inches by 6 inches square. And got their hands in and got all the stuff. It was a very interesting thing. I've never seen this before, but why would I have? They painted everywhere they thought their fingerprints might show up. It was not a paint all. They brought in a paint bucket.
There was a paint bucket there.
Yeah, but they painted everywhere that they thought that oh shit, maybe we touched that. Just rather than clean it and go over it, they just paint over it with just whitewash paint.
Yeah.
Not interesting.
It sounds amateurish to me. I mean, it's not it's no Pink Panther-y heist there. That is
Right.
a guttural break-in of a pack of drugged out thugs who knew he had some fancy, because that is the most unsophisticated rob job I've ever seen in my life. And
Well, they definitely knew he was going, and they definitely knew they had time because they started drilling into this thing, probably making a complete racket for hours. And I mean, they must have known that no one in the family was going to come home.
Was his whole
It
who's in
reeks
his
of
family?
inside job to me, almost. I don't want to cast any judgment, but it reeks of inside job.
No, it's obviously he's not responsible.
No.
Somebody who's very close to him knew what he was up to. Could be his gardener or
right. Or how often are you robbed by someone you know or someone who knows someone you know?
Sure, most often. I guess.
That's how they get the info.
Yeah. I would imagine though that it was mostly Patek, right?
He had his 3 or 4 Pateks. I think he had 3 Calatravas and a World Timer.
Oh,
and he had
Archie,
a Date Sub 41, a beautiful JLC Reverso, and that he's had for ages, that he bought for himself for his 40th. So it's a sentimental piece.
Does he still have a Milgauss?
I think he had the Milgauss, the Z Blue.
I'm so sad for. I'm most sad about
what
that.
He's got left is that. Also there was the Sky Dweller that was gifted.
Gifted to him.
Yeah. So that's gone. The only watch he has left was the one that was on his wrist that he wore to the States, which was the Explorer 2 white.
That's what he wore, huh?
Yeah,
the cheapest watch.
He went safe. Yeah, he went safe. Well, he got burned. He got gifted that Sky Dweller.
Yeah.
And because he was so vocal about it on the channel and Tim's channel, oh my God, this is so nice. Some asshole back in Aussie land, down under, made a call to customs and said, oh, there's a guy coming through and he's got a watch worth 25 G's. Hit him with customs.
What, they said it was gifted to him?
Yeah.
Well, he's obviously got enemies.
Oh, he has plenty of enemies. In fact, the word, throughout the watch world is, listen, love him or hate him, you got to feel bad. We don't hate him, but
I love him.
But there are plenty who, they won't go on this channel or whatever.
I mean, you'd think with a safe like that, it looked like a hardy piece of kit. How in the world is that made out of something that some jackasses can drill through? That's got to be oxyacetylene, right? It's got to be a blowtorch, I'm assuming.
I don't know.
How else would that be done?
I don't know. I think I saw a glance of the footage of the photo, and he, it looked like there was cut lines, like they had one of those blades,
I saw it.
spin blades.
I mean, I have no idea how to. What is the term for a safe cracker? They're called a neg. A neg.
Really?
A guy that's a safe cracker is called a neg.
Did I just learn a completely new word? I think I just did.
I mean, I don't know if it's an official word or it's a nickname, but they're called negs, and that is not the work of a neg. That is a fucking crackhead.
Nathaniel makes a very good point. Safes by time, not security. Any safe can be done. Well, yes. And in fact, I do remember Roman Sharf talking, I believe it was to Nico Leonard when he went over to visit his place in Belfast. And he goes, what time is this security? Because he has a security room and a big door. What time do you have on it? Any safe can be done if you have enough time. How much time does yours buy for you? And I think Nico said 45 minutes. And Roman paid way more to have like an hour. That's thousands and thousands more to have. This buys you an hour, because no safe is undoable in the world.
Wow.
Because all they do is they figure out what model you've got. They look it up and they go, okay, he's got that safe. And then they look up the blueprints on it. Haven't you ever seen The Score with Robert De Niro and Edward Norton?
Sure.
He has all the blueprints on all the
Yeah.
safes. And in the end, he drills a hole and he fills the thing with water and then drops a bomb in to blow the thing and use water pressure.
It's crazy.
He gets the idea because he's passing a bar and they're loading in kegs of beer. One of the kegs falls off the thing and rolls down and bursts open. And he's thinking about water pressure because water will break through pretty much anything. Compressed water, can cut through anything.
Someone has already gifted Archie a new Speedy. So apparently his Speedmaster was in there. Which Speedmaster did he have?
Pumpkin spice skills, $2. Thank you so much, man. Someone has already. I'm just doing it the right way. Sorry,
I know.
People are listening.
I was good before. I fucked up this one. Yeah,
but that's great. I was hoping for that. I was waiting for that. Like he has enough people with enough, money and watches to help him build up his collection again. I would say at least gift him a watch or two.
So which one did he have? Did he have like a 3861 or an 1861? Which one?
I think he had a 1861, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he had the new one. He was one of the guys who corroborated my claims about the new ones being a little sharp.
Oh, yeah. Lots of guys.
Archie, lots of people did, but it's nice when you get Archie's benediction. None of my
Spiritus Sanctus.
It really is like when he was
like that, Nate.
Yeah, it's sharp. Oh, Shane is right. It's sharp.
I cut a shave this morning with it. A sheen. Have a shave, close shave.
I love you, Shane. You know that?
Poor Archie. He just got his shit together. I mean, went through that rough patch, got it all back, was collecting all those ladies' Hermes bags. Really was he was on top of the world. And he did. I didn't watch the episode where he said, "You know who your friends and enemies are." I didn't watch it because I was afraid. It was the other day.
Oh,
I was afraid it would be too reactionary.
Right.
With a fresh piece of news like that, I was afraid that because he can be a hot-tempered guy. I just want.
He's in shock.
He's in shock. Yeah.
He's a puppy right now. He's really kind of in shock and. I watched him eat some ice cream desperately there.
I saw that. Too.
I don't care. Leave me alone. Let me stuff my face with ice cream. I understand. I mean, can you imagine how hard I'd hit the bottle?
Yeah.
I was saying with the guys the other night on the Tim thing I was on. I was being hammered in all directions. Fucking everybody cornering me. Blah blah blah. But whatever. I stood my ground. It was over other stuff. But I did mention, like, sometimes I get paranoid that the bank is going to get done in. That
the
I wonder.
FDIC, baby, it's insured. You're good.
Yeah, it's insured to what? It's insured to it's insured to like 60 or 70.
That's it.
I thought at first it was 80. I think it's actually less. Yeah, which doesn't cover it.
So if you put $1 million in the bank, and they take all your money, you only get $60K. That's not.
The safety deposit box is insured. That's what I'm referring to.
Is that a different thing?
Oh, so excuse me. I didn't explain myself correctly. So I keep most of the watches in there and I keep a few at home. I wear one, right? So then, and you rotate. That's what you do. You go by and you drop them in, you pick them up and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. But you do get the feeling sometimes like, hold on, like there's one kind of beast, if you want to call them that, one kind of individual who'll find out where I live and set it all up and wait till I'm out. I mean, it would be very difficult in my situation, extremely unlikely. But, you never know, right? There's a totally other kind of individual who goes in. We've all seen Sexy Beast, right? With Ray Winston and
yes, sir.
And they rent out the swimming pool next door, and they all drill through the wall under the water in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
complete. And then they just break into every safety deposit box and they fill their bags. It's a much bigger heist. They're not after my watches; they're after 100 million worth of stuff, and my watches just happen to be in there. So sometimes I'm trying to weigh it up, like in which scenario am I most at risk? Like, because here in Italy, the bank heist, You can imagine what they're like, you know.
The Italian
The guys
job.
The Italian job. Well, you know, well, that was Brits ripping off Italians, but when the Italians rip
Fantasy.
off, when
It's
they
like
rip off their own
Jews killing
people, they do it
Nazis.
with a certain fluency, you know.
Yeah, it was. It's fantasy revenge porn, is what that was.
The Italian job.
All of that, like in Inglourious Bastards, with the bear Jew.
Oh yeah,
Like,
fantasy revenge.
Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be great, but it didn't happen.
But it didn't happen. Yeah.
Right.
And remember, lads, or remember, boys, in this country, they drive on the wrong side of the road. Best line from Italian Job. On the wrong side of the road.
wrong side of the road. It's funny stuff.
Anyway, I mean, heart goes out to Archie. Rough stuff. I'm sure he'll get back in, be stronger. But for the moment, he's in the throes of that.
And he'll get a bank vault, hopefully.
Well, I don't think he'll ever make that mistake again, huh? I don't think anyone else will. Like, if any of us had ever had that, I mean, when I went to the London Watch shows there last year, one of my things in preparation of going, apart from getting the COVID test and, you know, getting all my stuff together and preparing, one of the things was drop all the watches off at the bank and pick which watch you're going to wear. I think the first time I wore the Omega Speedmaster, the first watch, the one that started it all. Second time around, I got a little ballsy and I wore the Rose Gold Daytona.
Wow. Now, could they stop you at customs and claim that you got that, or do you have to produce like when you procure?
I don't know. If you get stopped, it can be rough. From what I hear, I mean, this is all hearsay, but apparently people are being trained now at Heathrow to spot AP watches and Patek watches in particular. I mean, everybody's got a bloody Rolex at this point, right? They're going to stop every guy with a Rolex sub on him. They'll be stopping the entire plane half the time. But not many have this shaped watch. I think they're on the lookout for these shaped watches and Patek Aquanauts and so on.
So they're going to stop the guy with the octos, the Bulgaris, right?
Well, what, the Octo Finissimo?
Yeah, it looks like that.
It has that kind of look off it, right?
It does.
Yeah, it does.
They're very sexy watches.
Yes,
I would. So thin. Oh my God.
There you go. And I love a thin watch. I just do.
It's beautiful.
Did you see that new stupid Rolex thing that was released? The Challenger thing?
No.
You're not. You're not as deep into the watch shit as most.
I watched all the new Omega shit, and I was fascinated by it.
Of course you did. You're such an Omega.
That's where my heart lies.
Well, you know, Omega put out a deep sea thing.
Yeah.
Big thick fucker goes way down. Well, you know, that was Rolex's feather in their cap. They had the deep sea watches, right? Well, do you remember
James Cameron?
Remember James Cameron had a weird watch that he attached to the outside of his capsule going down. And it wasn't for wearing. It was, you know, it was way too big. But it survived the 12,000 feet or whatever it was. The Mariana Trench Challenger Deep. Well, now they've pretty much put that watch on the market in titanium.
Ooh.
It's 23 millimeters thick.
Wow. That's only impressive when it's your cock.
Yeah. Yeah, it has the measurements that are impressive for that. A member of, you know, a body, a part of your body. It's 50 across.
Sure.
I don't know what the lug to lug is, but it's 50 across. I mean, no one can wear it, but people are getting excited about it already. I'm like, that's a ridiculous thing. And they're trying to, I mean, everybody's just saying, they're just waving their dick at everyone else going, oh, no, you don't. You want to see a big, fat, deep watch that can go super deep? Hold my beer. And that's what they're doing. I mean, who on earth is going to buy it? It's like 23 grand. I have a photo. I'm not sure if it's going to focus, but somebody sent me a photo. Look.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
I don't know what size wrist.
That would be great for Paul Bunyan or Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Andre the Giant could wear it. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice watch for him.
I mean.
But then again, Panerais are there. Andre the Giant could have worn one of those.
Sure.
They have 50 mil watches, as far as I
Not
know.
nearly enough people wear Panerai, and they're gorgeous. They really are. They're just the Panaristi are cool people. That they've got their own club. It's very sexy. It's very Italian. I'm just so amazed that everybody's like, yeah, Rolex,
Including the Italians themselves.
including all the Italians. Every single gondolieri in Venice has got a sub on, and you pointed that out to me. Like, look, sub. I'm like, oh, look, sub, sub.
Oh, they're obsessed with Rolex.
First
of all, the Italians are very programmed. They all want the same stuff.
Oh.
They all want the same stuff. Years ago, when I first came here, every school bag was by Invicta, not by the watch brand. Or maybe it is. Maybe they also made school bags. I don't know. But every single person had an Invicta school bag. And I just thought, Italians, they're like, there was one huge giant Italian who stood on the top of Italy and he reached the clouds. And they just sliced them into pieces, and that's the Italian population. And they're all about getting exactly the same thing. They all want a Piaggio, what's it called? The motorino, the motorcycle here, the famous thing.
The Moto Guzzi,
with the
Vespa.
Vespa, thank you. Everybody wants a Vespa, and everybody wants a Golf GT. And everybody wants a Porsche. And they're all into the same thing. So it's like a thing they actually have to have. When I was working with and Ducati, of course, Peter Campbell, thank you. Nice. When I was working with Dainese years ago in the States, for those of you who don't know, I actually built Dainese's computer system in America, their network mainframe in New York and in Costa Mesa, California, which was the reason I bought Mr. North's record and Terra Records in Costa Mesa at that time. That's what I was doing there. I was actually working. I was their computer tech, and of course got a lot of jackets out of it and all that kind of stuff. But one of the first things they ran into, one of the first challenges for them as a brand getting into America, because obviously they're the highest level stuff for motorcyclists in the world, right? It's the really high level, expensive Italian stuff. Was that Americans didn't mind mixing and matching.
Yeah.
Like Americans are like, oh, my helmet's from one brand and my jacket's from another brand. I'm just going to wear a pair of jeans and my boots are from a different. They didn't care as much. The Italians, they wanted yellow Dainese, yellow. Okay, they wanted matching the whole thing.
Yeah.
They wouldn't dare mix one thing with another. They're just super conscious about, fashion and so on. Not for nothing. Milano is one of the big centers of couture, of moda, fashion in the world. So that's why for some reason, they got fixated on Rolex. There's another reason why they might not like Panerai here. Two. The next one in line is a lot of them are very big watches. And Italians, I'm a big boy. I walk around. The Italians ask me if I'm hungry all the time, because a lot of the Italians,
they're very slight. Yeah.
They're slight. I remember a guy in the military, an American military here in Italy years ago saying that the Italians, as far as he could see, the women and the men have the exact same bodies and just different heads and private parts. But they're, the men are in general, quite slight. You want to see me trying to find a pair of shoes here. It's impossible. I can't find my size here. In this
Paul's father wears 12s and he was in Paris and he went in there and they said, "What size, monsieur?" And he said, "12." And they went, "12?
12?"
Because French men have notoriously small feet.
Small feet. Well, I'm not going to tell you what I wear, okay? Because it'll shock you. Because I know Paul's father has bigger wrists than me, right?
Yeah, I know you wear like 13s. I know you do. You told me already. Yeah, you have a big
nearly 14, depending on what kind of shoe it is. So, why did I get onto this? Anyway, so Panerais are usually, in most cases, enormous watches on Italians. The last reason, of course, is that Panerai was a military watch. It was for the frogmen. But who did the frogmen fight for?
Yes.
They fought for the Nazis. They were Mussolini's crowd. They were on the wrong side of the fascisti.
Yeah.
The fascisti. So if you're into history, Unless you're fascista, which there are many in this
Very
country.
chic right now. It's the government.
It's the government now. They should be all back into Panerai.
Yay! Panerai, the official watch of the fascists.
We don't want those refugees coming over our borders.
No,
we want
he's
tighter
not Panerai.
borders. Yeah, we want lower
Fuck
taxes,
off.
lower gas,
Yeah.
tighter borders.
Yeah,
Sound
touch
like
borders,
anyone?
nothing will work because we have no money. And of course, the trains won't run and you will never get anything built because that's how it works. Because there's
That's
always
something-
at the head of some fascist coalition, there's always the chick or the guy that gets all the money.
Here's Nathaniel, get $5. When I heard about the deep sea challenge, I thought, finally, a watch too big even for us, Shane.
Oh, well.
Doesn't this look
Let's have
fine?
a try on. You should go to the Rolex Boutique.
This is technically 41 mils. I know it wears like a 43.
Yeah.
That's not too big for me, right?
That looks, it's perfection on your wrist.
Perfection, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
it is.
there you go.
Yeah, but that's tall and that's a big gummy stupid watch for James Cameron, he's probably got a wrist the size of Sheen's pinky.
Pumpkin spice scales, $2. Did you see Jenny's video on the new Sea Dweller? I have not. No, I quite often miss her videos of late for some reason. I don't know. It's hard to get excited.
I know.
Anyway, there you go. Somebody's talking about Giorgia Meloni scenes. You're talking about the fascist
Giorgia
movement
Meloni.
now.
Is she related to Christopher Meloni?
I don't know.
Be
Steve
interesting,
Crow.
right?
I was trying to. Who's Christopher Meloni? Sorry,
Christopher Meloni is a super bang, and he was from the show Oz, and then he was on Special Victims Unit with Mariska Hargitay. He's an actor, and it's Christopher Meloni, and he's famous for walking around with his dick out on Oz.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Big pride of a guy.
And I did recognize his name. Actually, recently he came up. Why is my brain not working now?
Meloni.
He came up recently, and I saw Meloni. And I went,
yeah.
So there you go.
He's having a big. He's back on the show, back on SVU, and he's done a lot of strange things.
I was trying to type Panerai in the official, I assume, in the official watch of Giorgia Meloni, but I was looking up how to spell her name. Okay. So, yes. What else? So, Twitter now is the property of
Elon Musk.
Elon, listen, can we stop idolizing Elon Musk? People don't think that everything he says that comes out of his silly mouth is gospel. I mean, the guy's kind of a man-child. Like, he's kind of a genius in a savant manner. Like, he's a mathematician and he makes interesting arguments, but he's kind of an idiot.
No matter how much money that guy makes, he'll always look like that. And that is about as sexy as a fucking cube of butter. That guy is he's so hideously unattractive to any species of anything. He just looks like a Venusian. He's so ugly.
We have this culture of he got money, therefore he knows what. I'm like, that's not really. If somebody gets, if somebody earns a lot of money, okay, that's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should be listening to
I totally want to fuck that first, don't you? I was talking to a girl today, and she was talking about older guys, and then I was trying to talk to her about George Clooney. He's got a house. He's in his 50s or 60s, and he's gorgeous, and he's got a house in Como, blah blah blah. And she's like, I don't like him. I'm like, honey, marry for money. And then marry for love. First marriage for money, and then you can fuck whoever you want. You can fall in love with whoever you want. But Elon Musk, whoever that guy, no matter who he marries or sleeps with, they're sleeping with him for the money. The same with every other giant magnate, Barry Diller with Diane von Furstenberg, because he's a big queen anyway. But who's the other big one? Who's the other? Donald, of course, the worst of them all.
Right.
No one's ever looked at Donald Trump and went, yes. Sexy fuck. I want to hit that.
Melania was asked years ago, and this is years and years before any of that presidential shit happened at all. And she was asked back in her prime, which, I mean, Melania,
gorgeous girl,
stunning girl. She was asked, so really, can we ask you the question, did you marry Donald for his money? And she goes, "You think he married me for my charming personality?"
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great answer. I was like, "No,
She's
you
smarter than
are
people
stupid."
think.
She is, but she's stupid hot too, or she was. I mean, she still is a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's still a
Anyway,
tigress. Yeah, why not?
So listen, 44 billion. Somebody put up now. He's trying to charge for people to get the little check mark, which I think is reckless.
Yeah.
You get a check mark, it's because you're someone. You're on there, and it's the same thing on YouTube. You get over 100,000 subs, you get a little check mark. That way people know it's really you, so impersonators can't run riot, which they're doing on me, by the way, because I'm still miles off of that. There's plenty of fake Oisin O'Malley's out there having a laugh, and
having a laugh.
Having a laugh. And now he's like, he wants to sell that shit for $8. And then I saw some
He's got to send people into space. It costs money.
I saw some meme of him going, there's like a sad face and then happy face. And the sad face was like, $8 for the little blue check mark, Twitter blue or whatever. You get a kind of different version of Twitter. I don't use Twitter, so I don't know. Yeah. And then the happy, and it was the sad face. The happy face was $8 for a big mocha frappuccino thing from Starbucks. So in other words, he's saying people are happy to drop $8 in a stupid, ridiculous coffee that looks like an ice cream.
They are.
They are. Whereas, why can't you pay? But so people just complain about the silliest stuff. Someone replied with the same thing, the sad face and the happy face, with happy face, 44 billion to buy. Sorry, I'll start with sad face. Sad face was like end world hunger, 6 billion. And that was sad face. And then happy face was like 44 billion to buy Twitter. And it was kind of a wake-up call. It's like, I didn't think about it. 44 billion is such a large amount. I mean, that's so much money. You could make world change with that money. You could save countries that are about to fall off the earth with that kind of money.
Sure.
And he just bought this stupid fucking platform
for nothing. It's just, it's useless. It's just a place for wankery. That's all it is.
I've never tweeted ever in my.
I have when I see somebody get something very wrong.
Okay, so
I figure that's warrior. Well, when somebody says something ridiculous on television, and I look up to see if they have a Twitter account, generally it's a pretty quick way of getting information, corrected information to them. And several times they've said, "Hey, cheers, thanks." I don't do it angrily unless it's something hideous, but I do it actually all the time whenever I see misinformation. It just drives me bananas. Like something as superfluous as I was watching a CBS Sunday Morning when Eddie Van Halen died, and they were like hair metal guitar player Eddie Van Halen, and I was like, you insulting scumbag.
I was about to say, I'm sure in most cases when you want to chime in about somebody getting something wrong, it's something to do with rock music. It's something to do with metal.
I mean, listen, I'm obviously gonna go to where my knowledge base is, and
actually, Iron Maiden used Marshall JC200s on that first record.
I would never do something like that. Do you want to know what my most recent Twitter comment was? It was, and I think I might have mentioned this to you. I was in San Diego, and the television in the hotel room was playing Dr. Phil. And they were talking about people who were, affirmative action and, all, black people and Jews and all these people that feel like they have a gripe against society. And he said, well, I don't really understand how any of you guys feel because, I'm Irish and, we were never oppressed by anybody.
Who said that?
Dr. Phil McGraw. So...
I'm Irish and we were never oppressed by anybody.
Yeah, so I went on to I'll see if I could pull up what I wrote to him.
I'm sure it was pretty heavy.
I pretty basically let him have the fucking book.
There's a lot of ignorance about that kind of thing, and I want to get onto it in a minute. But let's finish up on the Twitter thing. First of all, he went in. There's like 7,000 staff, and he fired half of them.
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So much for growth in jobs, bringing jobs to industry. He just made 3,500 people unemployed. He got rid of the bigwigs who he believes are too woke because they were behind the banning of certain individuals, including Donald Trump and so on. I was against that too. I don't like a single word that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth, but I believe he has the right to speak. And I think I hold that right much higher than anything else. And just removing him, if anything, if that's what you're after, if you want to silence the man, you've just made him more powerful. And I think if the man comes back full, 2024, he'll be even more vicious because of moves like that. But apparently there was a couple of individuals on the top end of administration in there who were literally handed their papers the second he walked in, because he was like, we no longer need your services anymore. Thank you. Goodbye. He walked in with a sink. He had a sink in his hand, which I thought was the nerdiest joke. He bought a sink, right?
Okay. He went to Home Depot and he got a sink.
Yeah, and Home Depot or something. He walks in with a sink and he drops it on the desk or something. He goes, "Let that sink in." I thought, oh my God.
Wow.
Can someone buy this guy a sense of humor?
Well,
this is like the
it doesn't matter how high your IQ is. Humor is not part of that equation.
That's true. That's true. It usually is.
Well, depends on what kind of smart you are. If you're a mathematician, not so much. But if you're a guy that reads great literature, you're gonna have that.
It's funny, isn't it? How funny is a strange. Yeah, it quite often is associated with intelligence, but it's not always necessarily the case. Yeah,
no,
some of the nerds in Cambridge and so on, just the scientists don't necessarily know how to deliver a joke properly or have that comedic side to them.
No, they definitely don't.
Anyway, look, now he owns Twitter. Who knows? Apparently, he's not going to put Trump back on another character. There's varying reports about what exactly he's going to do with various different characters, Andrew Tate and people like that, who are considered kind of toxic for the world. But you know what? You know who's toxic for the world now? Elon. Because Nancy Pelosi's husband was just attacked by some guy with a hammer.
No, right? That was his gay lover. Didn't you hear? He was having a gay tryst.
Exactly.
And the fissure in the glass was made from the inside. He broke out, not broke in. Didn't you hear that? I mean,
so he goes on his own platform now that he owns. And he perpetuates that. He was just asking the question, but quite often, like Fox News does, they just ask the question, and it's a very easy way of getting out of real responsibility for the things you're putting in people's minds.
Yeah.
You're just asking a question.
Does Nancy Pelosi have a really big pussy?
You always stump me. You stump me. You put up these blocks where I don't know. I don't know that humor. I don't know that. I don't know.
What did the two tectonic plates say when they bumped into each other?
What?
Sorry, my fault. Yeah, that's
so. So like he's perpetuating this crap, and it's like it's probably bullshit, but this is an experimental mind. He's the sort of dude you want in the room for ideas. And, what if we decide, what if we send a rocket up to space that we can use again? We'll land it back down. Is that crazy? Maybe not. Let's see if it'll work. Okay, great. But then at the same time, you've got, what if,
Yeah.
And that can get really out of hand then. It's like, sometimes you don't want that dude. It's a bit like drunk uncle, at Thanksgiving, which is coming up soon in the States. Drunk uncle, might have a few points, but at a certain point, you're hoping he'll pass out from the 16 whiskeys he's had.
We know a couple
because it's like
those,
you don't want to fucking hear him go on and on.
No, the latter half is always the worst half. First, it's light and bubbly and effervescent and all that, and then it's just like
a few quips, and then it turns
into like, you're a cunt.
Yeah, it turns into bad shit. Yeah.
Elon Musk owns the space race right now. He owns it.
Yes.
I mean, he's supplying everything to everyone. NASA is basically now just...
NASA doesn't have a human space project anymore.
They don't.
That's regression.
Yeah.
Nathaniel, again, $5. If you think you can solve world hunger with 6 billion, I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Okay. Maybe it's not 6 billion. Okay. But it's a very good point that with a certain amount of billions of dollars, people forget how much more a billion is than a million. You know, like a millionaire and a billionaire, they're not even close to one. Like $1 million you can fit in a Breaking Bad, sports bag, Walter White sport. You can fit $1 million in there. I've seen $1 million in cash. It's not that much money. You could put it in a suitcase if it's in the right bills. If it's in $100 bills, you could put it in a suitcase. $1 billion would fill an entire room. It's so much more money than $1 million. It's like people forget what $1 billion.
It's $1 million.
Yeah, it's 1,000 million.
Is it 1,000 million?
It's 1,000 million. $1 billion is 1,000 million. Yeah, a lot of people get that wrong, but that's okay. It's still way more. You spend 44 billion on something. I mean, that's more than the GDP of many countries in the world, And then he just bought this stupid online platform. Mind you, now that he's committed, maybe he'll reinvent it, and in 2 years we'll be drinking Twitter coffee and wearing Twitter jeans and using Twitter as I don't know, just like Twitter is coming out of our arseholes. I'll be smoking a Twitter cigar.
Ooh la la!
You keep going for kinky. You're all into today.
Because when I was growing up, all the jean ads, all the denim ads were always like, oh, and it was always a girl showing her sasson, ooh la la sasson, or Gloria Vanderbilt. You put your name on someone's ass.
Mr. Bradgas, $10. Bashing in late gentlemen. Bashing in late gentlemen.
Welcome.
Nice. Great topic for conversation. Enjoying the old-fashioned. Well, there's a lot of sugar in that drink, isn't there? An old-fashioned. It's a nice drink.
Oh, yeah, it's a sugar.
Very madman, right? If one incites violence or creates a stampede, one should be blocked for a time. There are ways to do this right. Okay, so yelling fire in a crowded theater is what you're talking about. Yeah, that can be problematic. It's one of the difficult sides of the free speech argument. But yes, I definitely get your point there. By the way, the way I interpreted bashing in late gentlemen reminded me of a joke I saw earlier about it was Louis C.K. was talking about how he was reading traffic signs wrong, and he was like, they're not punctuated, they're very brief, so you can read them wrong. And one of his earliest skits was how you read them wrong, and he was like, slow down, children, instead of slow down, children. There are
in the road ahead,
or no, you turn.
Punctuation is everything.
No, you turn. So clever. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about Elon. This guy, I just feel like he's a bit of a child.
Yeah.
And
he's savantish.
And in some ways it's great, and we need that kind of character. He's fearless. And in other ways it's like, whoa, slow down, like, let's not follow absolutely everything he says, because he will have wild ideas. It came up recently as well on Tim's thing about Michael Burry, this apparent genius in the markets, and everybody's talking, oh, Michael Burry said this, Michael Burry said that, because he predicted the crash back in 2008. And I was saying, listen, Michael Burry says a lot of shit. Like, yes, he was right then, but he says a lot of stuff. He has like 10,000. He's a little on the spectrum, that guy. I think he has Asperger's or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's got a lot of ideas. So it's like, stop, looking at every single thing he does and thinking, oh my God, it's Nostradamus. It's a prediction about how the world is going to be.
God.
Slow down. Like, nobody really knows about, how things are going to go. Anyway.
Hold that thought. I'm getting a beer. I need one.
Are you ready for? You've already had one. Okay, I'll go through some chats here while you're gone. Slow children playing. His response to AOC, I didn't see that, Buckley. His response, what did he say to AOC? God, I wish that woman were a bit... I feel like her heart is definitely in the right place, at least for my kind of politics. But I just wish she were more... I just wish she were smarter and more articulate, and I just wish we had a better representative at the spearheading that side of politics in America. She's a pretty amateur one. I think that's the problem with the left these days. A lot of kind of messy amateurs ruling the roost over there. I liked Bernie. Sorry, guys. Does that make me a communist? Meanwhile, Bernie, you bring him over to Europe and he's kind of mid or right wing almost. It's like, poor guys there telling people why it should be free to get your broken arm fixed. It's like, oh my God, that's if you have to make that argument, we're in trouble. But anyway, I know I offended about 50% of the people watching, maybe more. But what are you going to do? AOC is toxic. Bob Sacamano. I mean, it depends what your focus is. She can be a little, I don't know. These are just opinions, really, at the end of the day. Bernie is... Bob Sacamano again. Bernie is great but too old. Donald Trump was the oldest president, I believe, in history. So Bernie is weak. Well, what's weak? I often find that as well. People looking for a strong leader. Strong. What's strong? Depends what I think the men on the front lines have to be strong. Strong leaders are different kinds of... Depends what you define as strong. Some people want aggressive. That's what they're looking for. A thinker can be a strong person. But anyway, I know I'm up against a right-wing crowd because I have a watch channel. And, it's populated probably 75% with people on the right. I'm just going through some chats here, getting slightly political, which I don't want to. So let's steer off that. Elon, anyway, Jesus, will he ever get his 44 billion back? I don't know. A lot of these companies were bought at their peak and then were sold off for a couple of million when they just fell out of nowhere. I mean, MySpace, remember? And Foursquare and Netscape Navigator. And
they all got bought.
Yahoo.
They all went down the tubes. Yahoo.
I honestly do. Am I wrong? Like, isn't Twitter yesterday's news?
No,
like,
the news people and everybody, foreign correspondents, and in the news world, it is now. The news now. It is. It's not social media. It's information.
Okay.
So
I'm wrong.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What else Yay. Kanye.
Yeah. I don't say that guy's name anymore because he's not worth my breath. Is he dead yet? Does anybody care?
I know.
The Jews finally got him. Thank you, Jewish people.
Yeah, he finally walked into that. He walked into that
bear trap. Thank you, God. Thank you finally for spouting your stupid trap against the one group of people that have enough of a coalition to silence you for goody. Bye.
A lot of people are making that point. They're like, hold on, didn't he say white lives matter and slavery for the blacks was a choice? These are the most offensive things you could say.
Don't fuck with the Jews, man.
But they'll get you. Don't fuck with the Jews. A lot of people are saying, isn't that kind of proving what he was saying? Or this is what they're saying. This is not what I believe. But, isn't that proving? Because he's gone for that classic old trope. the classic old, the Jewish covert hand controlling everyone, the puppeteer,
sure, the Nazi
the
propaganda, all of it.
Rothschild family, blah blah blah, and which is such basic anti-Semitism. I'm sorry to say, but
it's like the most basic of all.
Yeah, haven't you where's your, you've got to upgrade your level of anti-Semitism, and you're coming in on the, the childish end of it. But
well, he's a child.
Yeah,
with childlike comments and
it's like he just discovered this little thing.
Somebody said, "You know what, man? It's the Jews' fault," and he's like, "Yeah, dude."
Yeah,
and he just expounded.
I'm sure his first question was, "What's a Jew?"
Yeah, he had no idea.
Yeah.
Listen, the JDL has had so much time and so many decades to deal with, to get their whole act together. Let's face it. Black people, gay people, all the other great little, round robin of minorities don't assemble as well as Jews do. They assemble and they mean business. And the JDL is a very powerful entity. And when you go after them in any capacity, you will be dealt with. Gay people are like, stop it. Black people are like, yo, man, he's blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. The reactions are just, they're not, it's like the JDL is laser focused. Laser. Right. It's the most powerful laser in the world because they have had to deal with that level of hatred against them for thousands of years.
Right. Pogroms,
everybody else,
et cetera.
Yeah, not
and
so
then,
much.
Of course, the middle of the last century, the early half of the last century. So, I had a little bit of a run-in. Her name is Honey West. I'm going to say her name because, you'll Honey understand West. Why. I don't know if that's an invented name because on Instagram, she's Honey Lava. Anyway, she was in the AP groups, the Ogma Piguet groups on Facebook. And she put up some, which I'm in there too. And she put up some bust down big Royal Oak offshore thing, but completely bust down, like diamonds all over. It was hideous. And she was asking the group, "Oh, how much is this worth? Or is it real?" Or she had some question about its provenance. And she was, a lot of comments came in that were horrible. They were saying horrible things about her because she appears black. She says she's Filipino, but is there a black Filipino mix? I don't know. I thought she was black also. I came to her rescue. I was like, "Hey boys, give it up. This is, that's not cool. Maybe you don't like the watch, but don't make it about a race thing or whatever." And so I kind of, defended her and so on. And then she reached out to me, privately going, "Oh, thanks very much." And that's cool. And then I'm not sure we really got talking. She left me a few voicemails or something like that. And she friended me and so on. And I friended her. And it went on from there. Well, anyway, it's not like we talk all the time or anything, but then she starts posting stuff about Kanye West. And the stuff is like, "Oh yeah, boo-hoo, he's gone from 2 billion down to 400 million. Big deal. He's still, yeah." And I was like, "Are you really a fan of that dude? Like, you're my friend on Facebook. Like, do you realize he just said a lot of stuff I just defended you from racism. Do you realize what he's saying is they're racist tropes? But I don't think they computed to her as racist tropes. And
because they're not against her race.
Yeah. So it got heated. It got heated pretty quickly. And I was like, and then she started saying like he's better than Prince and stuff. Oh. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
What? Because I love Prince, amazing. Because Prince's stuff was owned by other people, by bigger people, whereas Kanye isn't owned by anyone. And I was like, you know what? You're so impressed by the money. Like the money is everything here, isn't it?
He's a fucking retard. And that's, sorry to use the word retard because we're not allowed to use it anymore, but he is one. And I don't mean he's a slow person. The guy's just a moron.
Right. Lacaria said there are a lot of Filipinos mixed with black.
Yeah, thanks
to American military bases. True. Yes. Well, she definitely appears to be black. She's a pretty girl, but I just went, hold on. Don't you know how we know each other? It's because I defended you from racist assholes calling you an African clown and all sorts of horrible shit. And now you're defending this dude who's clearly done the same, but it doesn't offend you with your shit. Now, you know what came to mind was Whoopi Goldberg months ago when she said the Holocaust wasn't about race. And I went, I'm like, that's exactly what, I mean, World War II wasn't about race. World War II was a bigger thing. But the Holocaust part of it is definitely only about race. The Stuttgart laws are very specific. Kissinger, Eichmann, etc. It's part of our species, but not part of our race. It's extremely specific. It couldn't be more about race than any other thing. But Whoopi Goldberg, it didn't compute. And I thought to myself, does it happen that if you're black and you feel racist and so on, you look at Jews and whites and you go, they're just a bunch of white people arguing?
Yeah, they do. But that's true. But I think it's true of the gays are like, they don't pay attention at all to the minutia, the various different forms of people who are gay. Now we're getting lumped into the whole thing of like all the different categories. But no, I think that it's just us and them. I think it's just us
and them. And that's it was incredibly sad. I was like, don't you realize? And she started calling me a racist, because I was like, you're just being impressed by the money, and that's such a horrible thing. And she's like, oh, you're inside, you're a racist. I'm like, no, I'm accusing you of racism for supporting this dude. Anyway, in the end, she called me white trash. and then she goes, go read a book.
Go read a book. Wow.
What's a book, Dirk? I've never heard of a book. I don't
know. Paul said to me the other day, we were talking about people. He heard a great argument for moon landing deniers, and he said the greatest response to that is, please, the moon.
The moon? Well, I saw one guy.
As if that's a thing. The moon is real.
Right. Yeah, I think I saw that exact thing where how to freak out conspiracy theorists. And by the way, I'm open to conspiracy theorists, theories. Yes. I'm always open. I'll hear out anything, especially if it's scientific. It's brilliant. But to out conspiracy theory them. So when they go, I don't think we landed on the moon, you're supposed to go, you believe in the moon?
The moon?
You think it really exists?
That's a projection.
You're supposed to outdo them and freak them out, like with your level of stuff.
Oh, it goes in orbit because the Earth is round. Of course it's round. Just make them feel stupid, yeah.
I still have a big question mark over that whole thing, by the way, but we won't get into that. You know how it's okay.
I did for the longest time until.
So I think it was Edward Snowden who closed
Edward Snowden is the guy that made me go, okay, I believe it.
Okay.
Because he's the guy that spilled the beans on so much shit.
Yeah.
We've never met aliens, he said. We have no extraterrestrial people in captivity.
I can believe.
There's no way. Nobody's ever come up with any kind of warp drive. It's never happened.
Well, look at it this way. 60 light years away, 70 light years away from here. That's pretty close, right? That's celestially, that's pretty close. 60 light years away. Yeah. If there's anybody watching us from there, they're watching the Holocaust right now. They're watching, did I say Holocaust?
The Holocaust.
The Holocaust.
Have a holly jolly costing. Sorry.
I have a speech impediment sometimes. But like they're watching that. They're seeing the past, like we're seeing that past, looking out to the stars. Most of those stars are gone now and replaced by new ones, maybe, or whatever, black holes and things.
Sure.
But we're looking at ancient life. We're looking into the past as we look out there. So these are the distances. So when somebody says we haven't had any contact, I'm like, yeah, we probably haven't. It's too fucking
too far.
Way too far. I'm sure there's intelligent life out there, but God,
definitely we'll never see it. It's never
like an ant on a beach in California wondering about another ant on a beach in Australia. It's like, forget it. You'll never find them. It's what a waste of time.
It's all I watch and all I read. I just am obsessed with all forms of space travel and extraterrestrial, all the exoplanets. It's all I care about. It's all I read. It's all I want. And I know that due to either rare earth or Fermi or any of those things.
Fermi's paradox.
Yeah, just think, nah, it's never gonna happen. We're gonna blow the living fuck out of ourselves before we ever meet before Zephram Cochrane ever does anything.
It's the great filter you're referring to.
The great filter. Yeah.
2 books. Birds aren't real.
That's
Haven't you
thing.
heard?
Haven't you heard?
Mr. Badgas. Kanye is a flat earther. Oh my God.
Start here. He's a flat earther.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Listen, I've seen all the interviews. I mean, as much as I can get through them, because he did a few interesting ones in the past few weeks. I mean, clearly the guy's troubled. I've always thought about that. I always thought that. It's hard for me to even, like, when I watch an Andrew Tate or someone, at least he's making a logical argument. I'm not. I think he makes some excellent points, the guy, but I'm not always on his side. But I can hear I can hear a man construct an argument in his mind properly. I watch Kanye West, and I think this guy it's spaghetti. He has spaghetti in his brain. He can't finish a sentence correctly. He can't finish a full point. There's nothing happening. And it's all persecution complex. It's all how the world did him wrong with his 2 billion, right? Or his whatever is left of it, how the world did him wrong. And that seems to be the
world did he ever amass that kind of money being. And also, what really bothers me? Everybody just instantly calling him Ye.
Yeah, because they respect that for some reason, and now you're getting to the point that I'd like to make, and I made it to Honey West or Honey Lav or whatever.
Well, you should read a book first.
Name is what? You
should read a book first.
I should read it. Well, once I read a book, honey, I'll. Yeah, but it's my point is, I don't really have a problem with Ye or Kanye. I don't really have a problem with him. That's like having a problem with some poor guy in the street screaming at everyone he's homeless or
somebody's child.
Some kid, just kicking things around. It's like, why am I? My problem is people are buying this guy's music. They're listening to what he says, and they're following him and they're respecting. They're fueling. Without them, he's just another fool idiot. But they're buying the shit. They're going to his concerts. Somebody recently said, it was a brilliant comedic thing. I can't remember who it was. If they had billions and billions, if they had Jeff Bezos money, they'd buy all the Maroon 5 tickets in the world because they hate Maroon 5. They'd buy them all and just go to all the concerts and stand there by themselves and boo. Because they hate Maroon 5. One person so they'd walk out to like a huge auditorium. There'd be one guy who bought all the tickets and he just
suck.
Go, boo, you suck your shit, right? I would do that with Kanye. I would do that. I would just go, like, do you remember he came out and he played fucking Bohemian Rhapsody and the whole crowd started singing it? And he didn't even he just used the real version. It wasn't even a reinvented version.
He just went, Mama, just kill the man, put a gun,
yeah. He couldn't even sing it. He couldn't hold the notes.
Trigger, my fuck dead. Yeah. And people were like,
I thought to myself, my first instinct was, what a moron. But then I went, no, stop. He ain't the moron. All the morons are in the crowd.
Isn't that always the case, though?
When I have a few drinks on me, I'm like, light a match. Because, we're going to be rid of a bunch of fucking idiots in this world. You morons, you bought his music, you listened to him, you gave him the power that this moron has. Shame on you.
Yeah, it's so true of so many things. It's why people fall into cults, why people get really involved in crazy religions. Right. I mean, listen, I'm not an expert on hip hop. I'm not qualified to judge it. But I do know what I think sounds good as a lifelong musician and aficionado of melody and cool rhythms and all that stuff. And like, there's some rap out there that I'm just blown the fuck away by. Then I hear that guy. Eminem. Like that, I couldn't believe that.
So some of his raps are at 100 miles an hour.
But they're also the syntax and also the storytelling and, like, Nas and some of this crazy shit I've heard. but this guy just sounds like hickory dickory dock. His chick was sucking my cock. It just seems so amateur hour. Like it sounds like something you'd see in a nursery classroom.
I'm sorry. Did you just go up with that? You did, you fucker. You did. You know that's not really outside of that world right now. It's so acceptable to go, the chick is sucking my cock.
Oh, I know. The
I
language.
smack her ass.
I hear it on TV now. Listen, when I was a kid, there was no shit, fuck, piss, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. That was the George Carlin's 7 words you can't say on TV. Guess what? You can say them all now, except for the C word.
Right.
I hear shit all the time. Fuck. I hear it all the time. Cocksucker. Yeah.
And most of it's extremely misogynistic, and it's I smack her ass before I fuck her, and
always
horrible,
always super misogynistic,
shit.
Always horrible. Yeah.
Always
in that really dark, horrible way. Yeah.
So let's hear the rest of the lyrics. Hickory dickory dock. This chick was like,
I mean, it's just like, you know, it's just
the
like,
craziest shit.
It's just like the Man from Nantucket, which I didn't make up, and that's so dirty. And when you hear it, you go, "Oh my god, that's from the 1800s." Do people do that? It's terrible. But when you hear Kanye or any of, listen, like I said, I'm not qualified. I watch that stuff, and to me, it's so cacophonous, and there's no real blueprint. It's just a big sloppy mess. It's like watching a really shitty band that's got a terrible drummer and bass player. Like if the rhythm section is bad, it's all bad. So when you see Lizzo, who I don't dislike, I loved her first record, but I see the presentation or the Megan Thee Stallion, it just looks like a vaudeville or stripper. I'm insulting vaudeville. It just looks like a bad strip club at the end of the Vegas Strip. It's not quality. It's crap. It's naked, chubby girls because, you know, I'm speaking my truth and all that crap. You know what? When I've gained 20 pounds, I'm fat, and I feel bad about myself because I'm fat. And you know what I want to do? I want to get skinny. And I don't want anybody to ever say, "You look great." No, I want them to say,
the fat shaming.
I want them to say, "Dirk, you gained a lot of weight."
Well, Taylor Swift have to remove a part of the number one single.
She shouldn't have to do anything.
She removed a part of it where she stands on a weighing scales, and it says "fat" on the weighing scales.
Yeah,
and she's talking about her own paranoias and stuff because her weight fluctuates like everyone in the world, and of course, all eyes are on her. And I forgive you, Taylor, even when your legs are a little thicker. I don't mind, darling. But you know, she had to remove that because a lot of people were made feel bad. It was like fat shaming on her video or whatever.
But you know what? It's bad. It's bad to be fat, and it's okay. When I see myself in pictures, I hope, like I always say, "Oh, why didn't somebody tell me? Dirk's got to get off the carbs because I don't want to be fat. I don't want to look like the fat guy." You know, I don't want to be the fat guy. You know, we don't want to be unhealthy. And we don't, you know what the worst is? Like showing your fat rolls in the pictures. Now they're glorifying it. Every girl on the street who's got like these jeans that are hanging down her crack and the super tight stuff, it's all jelly roll. And it's like, she's like, look at my shit. Looking good. No, looking fat.
You might say it's a necessary evil. You could say that at least. You could say, listen, don't glorify the bad health and so on. Like it may not be fun. It's like failing an exam. You should have studied. What are we going to start saying? No, there's glory in failing that exam. Don't feel bad about failing that exam. No, study.
You failed.
Please study. You failed. Go back and study again and try again. You know, there's the theory about the intolerant tolerance. So that where the world becomes so tolerant of everything that they become intolerant, which is maybe the world we're heading into now. Yeah. That now you have to tolerate everyone with their pronouns and their overweightness or whatever thing they have. That speaking out against that in any way or not tolerating it becomes intolerable to many people. So then you become cancelled. So in other words, the people who are touting themselves as tolerant are becoming the intolerant, and it's a form of fascism. So it's a funny thing how we go all the way around the egg, right? You start there and you go around there, but then you wind up in the same spot again, you become the oppressor because you were against the oppressor. Now you've become the oppressor. Kind of, you come full circle. I don't know if I'm explaining myself.
Well, look
correctly.
at the '60s. You know, look at free love and mini skirts and all that stuff. Everybody was like shagging everybody, and now it's like we're back to Victorian era. It's like he touched my shoulder. You're canceled. We have completely gone 360 on the sexual revolution. Now it's like, of course, you don't want to be a dick and rape people. But like, you know, we've discussed Kevin Spacey before, and that cunt from Star Trek lost his case, which I'm grateful about because, like I've said, I've had a million old faggots touch my fucking ass, and I've either said, "Hey, sounds great," or punched him in the face. Two options. No, thank you, sir. But back then, like everybody was like, "Yeah, I'm down. I've never had vagina before. Or I've never had a penis in my mouth." Blah blah blah. They, you know, and mini skirts. You watch these '60s shows. You watch Peter Sellers Anything, and all these girls are wearing high heels and mini skirts, and they're gorgeous, and they've big teased up big crowns, and everybody's so sexy. And now we don't look at me because I don't want to be sexualized. We all love being sexualized to a degree.
Carolyn Martin says, Oisin, so generous of you. Are you being facetious? What did I say? Did I offend you, Carolyn? I hope not.
No. I think she's saying it. You're clearly stating.
Nathaniel Hannon, 2 books. Hilarious that Adele was shamed for slimming down. Well, yeah, sure. Because,
we have a
you know,
theory on that.
Billie Eilish as well. She finally took off the sweats. Remember, she always wore big
because she's buxom.
Because she's a big girl. She's heavy breasted and stuff.
She's not fat in any way. She's just really buxom.
Yeah, she's just really buxom, and she was against the sexualizing of women. Right. And okay, that's fine. That's great. But she also became the hero of many young girls who don't have those unattainable figures. Yeah. And then when she finally took them off for, I don't know, was it Vanity Fair? It
was Vanity Fair, yeah.
And then she lost 100,000 followers or something because they're like, I hate her now because she showed her skin. So it's, in other words, the apparently tolerant became intolerant of Billie. You see how this isn't a funny thing that happens? Humans are such odd characters.
We're just such judgmental twats, all of us. Stop fucking judging everybody, man. It's just ridiculous. Why do we do it? Why do we have to talk about Lizzo? And, you know, Lizzo needs to shut up a little bit because it's like she's got a big mouth. You know what, honey? You're going to have a fucking massive stroke.
Yeah, she needs to, I mean, if I
that's not healthy, doctor, and stop saying you're proud of that because it's, you know, it's bad.
Yeah, she really, really has a weight issue, Lizzo.
It's huge. She's enormous.
I think she's an extremely talented woman.
She is extremely talented.
Please make more albums. Please don't have a heart attack before you make more albums.
Yeah, play James Madison's flute all you want.
Right. Mark Gerard said Billie Eilish is effing gorgeous. She is. She's gorgeous. Beautiful girl. Oh my God. Stunning. And hyper intelligent. Like, amazing.
Did you watch the Dave Letterman interview?
No.
Fuck. My next guest needs no introduction. His series on Netflix.
Okay.
She's stunning on it. It is the mind of a much older, more
she's extremely precocious.
Woman.
She always has been precocious. I mean, that girl wrote amazing songs that I could never write. Like certain songs that on, I think, her second record, that I'm just like, how did she write that? Like, I know she wrote it with her brother and so on, but there's so much maturity in her music. It's really, it's kind of spooky. It's spooky. And Andrew Wolkowicz. 2 books for the boys. Sorry for the language, Carolyn.
We all have to put $1 in a jar for Carolyn because we always get off on a tangent and say something really
happening
dreadful.
In the chats? I'm not staying up.
I haven't actually been really paying attention tonight, which I usually do.
I get off on the chat on the whole point of the conversation on it, and then I miss a lot of stuff that people are saying. Buckley, dangerous messaging to young people.
Totally dangerous.
It's not healthy or okay. Yeah, Nathaniel's back in again. Yeah. In I Dream of Jeannie, they had to fill in her belly button with clay because it was too scandalous to put on television. Wow.
She's still gorgeous, by the way, Barbara Eden. My God, what an absolute... Tell me you weren't mad for her, Oisin.
Sure.
Barbara Eden. Oh my
I
God.
like anything that's very feminine looking.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
she's the ultimate expression of feminine.
I like dolls. When I see
Yeah,
a
I know.
walking living doll, I go, you know.
So, you know, we were watching a terrible film the other night. It was absolute crap.
Oh,
It was called Not With My Wife, and it was Tony Curtis and Virna Lisi. Did you have a thing for her?
No.
The whole time I was thinking about, oh, that's a girl for her, for a Sheen. My
I'm going to look her up right now. You're such an encyclopedia of things that happened before 1970.
I love old cinema.
What's her name?
Virna Lisi, Virnalissi. Virna Lisi.
There she is. Oh, God. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's...
Can you show us? What do you got?
I can.
Yeah.
Why do I recognize
Hope you got
her
to go.
slightly?
She was in a lot of stuff. She was in How to Murder Your Wife with Jack Lemmon. Sorry, a little stroke. She was gorgeous. It's like so beautiful. It's like ridiculous. She was like a porcelain doll. I mean, God, look at that. Crazy. Look at her eyes.
Is that a beauty spot right by her lip?
Yes.
No, I don't know. I don't know if I've seen her before.
Yeah. Look at that one. Oh, jeez. Look at that. My God, look at that face.
Stunning. Yeah, beautiful.
She's just and she's a terrific comedian as well. So we're watching that.
I remember a girlfriend of mine, a very pretty girl. We both know her. She came home from, they started using her. She was working at a beauty salon or something in New York, and she's very blonde and all of that. She had those beautiful kind of Scandinavian / American looks, or German American looks. And she came home with hair like that. They were using her for photographs or for experiments, like for hairdressers. So she would come home with different hair all the time. Like she'd arrive home with this crazy hair that they just.
But it wasn't crazy. Everybody had their hair done back then.
Yeah,
no one does their hair now. Everybody walks out of the house like a wet rat.
She walked in with that or something similar to that.
Look at that.
I swear to God, it was magnificent.
Now, if a girl showed up on a date and you'd never met her and she showed up looking like that, wouldn't you lose your shit?
Yeah, because it's like a bouquet of flowers.
It's the most beautiful thing. Why don't women care about their hair anymore? It's just like they walk out of the house with like wet hair.
I don't know. Like
look at that. That's a very Marilyn kind of thing.
That's very Marilyn. Yeah. That's nice though.
Go to Google Virna Lisi and then Google Not With My Wife.
When was this film from?
It was Tony Curtis. It was just on. I love to watch Turner on demand. Okay. And it was just it was such a
1966.
Yeah.
So what was wrong with this film?
It was just shite. It was just not well written, and that's just bad. It's bad. Look at that. Tony Curtis. George C. Scott was very young and actually quite handsome in it. Now these are just terrible shots. Yeah, you got to see her when she's a nurse.
These are old movie shots.
These are all painted, though. They're hand painted.
They've been painted over.
These have been painted over. The film was astonishing looking. Yeah. It was in Technicolor, and it was sharper. It was so sharp and gorgeous. It looked like it had been remastered. It was beautiful. And Carol O'Connor is in it. It was really. It had all the
references that I don't know of. You make me feel.
Carol O'Connor is Archie Bunker. All in the Family.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you've never seen that show, you should binge the entire thing. It was a groundbreaking American show by what's his name? Who's the guy that wrote it?
Odd references, man.
Well, All in the Family was a show that they used the N-word on. He was this racist guy who lived in Queens. And he had a wife who was subservient to him, and he had a very liberated daughter and her Polish young husband, who was Rob Reiner. And it was Rob Reiner. Obviously, we all know who he is. He was called a meathead and Polak, and he called black people certain things and Latin people. But there was great episodes like Archie he would be like, "Yeah, shut your mouth, Dad. Read this page like a real queen." Beer. He had his chair. He bowled. It was very American Queen, New York in the 70s. One time there was an episode, it was groundbreaking, where a woman passed out in his camp and he gave her mouth to mouth and he saved her life. And it turns out she was a transvestite. Beverly LaSalle. I mean, this is a show that has gone down in American culture, but could never play now because it's so not politically incorrect, because there's a lesson to every episode to show you how racist or how completely ridiculous your thinking is. But people would hear words they don't want to hear. Like they used spick and all words like that.
Sure.
Fag, all these kind of things that people don't want.
Words are offensive. I mean, look, the only people who still haven't managed to get around to being offended by anything are still the Irish.
Right.
You can call us drunk paddies. People call me a scruffy. Some guy the other day on my channel, he was like, or someone else's channel, I think they mentioned me. And they're like, I think he's just a grumpy drunk or something like that. And I was like, you forgot scruffy, grumpy drunk. Get it right. If you're going to do it, get it right.
Right.
We lost a bunch of viewers right there because all the references now are just like going way.
No. I think
it's okay.
A lot of people said some cool stuff. I forgot that Sammy Davis Jr. was on the show and he kissed Archie Bunker. And it was the shot heard round the world. A black guy kissed a white guy on TV. People lost their mind.
Carolyn Martin, $10. Thank you so much.
Oh, my God.
For that. Gentlemen, I am old. No, you're not. But grew up in a house with all men, so no worries. I'm sorry. Did we get lewd? I guess we did. I was talking about girls. I guess I shouldn't.
Girls. Do the Beyonce song. Girls. That's lyrics. She's poetic.
What?
Girls. That's the whole song. Beyonce. Girls.
I don't know that one. I know all the single ladies.
Yeah, that's the only one anybody knows. She's shy too, but that's all right.
There's another girl watching here, Patricia.
Hey, Patricia Teague.
Dirk.
Yeah, no, of course he
wasn't exposed to the 70s American culture the way we were.
Right. I thought in my ignorance, I thought All in the Family transcended the world.
We were just talking about that earlier. How the Brits can be quite insular and think that they're mostly I grew up watching Blackadder and Frying Laurie and not the 9 o'clock news.
Yeah, me too.
And all of that stuff.
Benny Hill, and I watched all that stuff. I just don't I don't get Monty Python to this day. I don't get it.
Okay.
I've tried.
I like it.
Some of it. Yeah. But although Carol O'Connor was an incredible actor, I think he won an Emmy every single year he was on as Archie Bunker. It just pushed the boundaries of what people were thinking, and how to dispel their fears of what wasn't known to them. Basically, like a black family moves in next door, and all hell breaks loose, and then they find out, wow, they're really nice. He had no idea, and they shamed the fuck out of him during the episode because he comes off as such a buffoon. He was just one of the great buffoons of cinema, of television. It was great. Anyway,
playing the buffoon to make a point.
Correct.
A bit like what's the one with what's the older dude from Modern Family? He's married to Sophia.
Ed O'Neill.
What was the old show? Remind me.
Married with Children.
He was the fool. He was the idiot, but he made certain points that were like they used him as a vessel to like feed certain ignorant points.
Draw in all the Trumpers. Yeah, I fucking don't like any of those guys. I'm gonna put on my white sheet and go take care of those fucking assholes. It's like I told you, I've been doing with people when people get really too far. With me on any political level, it doesn't have to be Republican. It can be Democratic. And I'll be like, yeah, we should kill all the babies while we're at it. If somebody gets really crazy with me or Trump or any of those people, I'll go so extreme on them on their side.
Bundy.
Yeah. Yeah. Al Bundy. Yeah. He was great. And he was fucking a ride too back then. He was good looking.
Yeah. He was good looking.
He was good looking back in the day. He was.
Wouldn't even occur to me. What's her name? The blonde daughter. She was beautiful.
My friend dated her. My friend Anthony dated her for a couple of years. Christina Applegate. He dated her. He was on the show. He was in a band, and he was on the 2 episodes of that show, and he dated her for a while. And he said she is a spectacular lady, which I totally believe. Yeah,
beautiful girl.
Yeah.
You know who reminds me of her, actually? Blondie. May as well mention her.
Yeah,
Blondie from the
yeah.
she's very Christina Applegate. Nathaniel, $5 again. Dirk,
I don't get it.
if you don't, you're answering the question before I even ask it. Dirk, if you don't get the dead parrot sketch, we can't be friends. The dead parrot, of course, from Monty Python. Always look to the bright side of life. Yeah, Monty Python. Yes, it's an acquired taste, I
Do you really
guess.
say Monty Python?
Python.
Monty Python.
Monty Python.
I just find it to be silly, and I don't get it. I mean, I get a lot of British humor, and I like a lot of it. I love all the stuff that the alumni of that group have done. Like, I love A Fish Called Wanda. I love all that stuff. But like when I watch, like, I don't get it, man.
Mark Sherrod, you're late to the game. Mark Sherrod to Dirk Anoshi in touch on the AC3 losing his collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We did talk about it. Yes, we did. If you want, just rewind and have a look.
Yeah, you'll see it.
It's not like world break, earth shattering stuff. We're just chatting about it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it? Have we come to the end of our topics? I
just wanted to stop with not to get too serious, but Roger Waters went after Bono.
Recently. Yes, what happened? I didn't see that.
He wrote, he doesn't like Bono.
Roger Waters, founder of Pink Floyd,
Floyd.
Who we're big fans of, went after Bono of U2. Over what? What did he say?
Let me get that for you. Let me just do this the right way. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, look, Roger can be a bit like Elon Musk, can be a little too outspoken. I feel like his heart is a bit like AOC. Their heart is in the right place, but sometimes they can't articulate it very well, and sometimes they mess up.
I mean, I think he's starting to lose the plot. Roger.
Isn't he 80 now? Is he 78, 80?
Yeah, I think he's starting to.
It has to go eventually, right?
Yeah. So he basically said on Twitter, isn't it enough that Egypt Bono goes and hobnobs with the oligarchs at Davos every year without getting the Egypt Nancy Pelosi to foist his shitty poem on us? She apparently had read a poem because he's got a book. And I started.
Who's got a book? Bono?
Bono's got a new book called Surrender plus 40 Songs. Brand new autobiography about the band and him. And I started reading, and it's very Bono-y. It's very flowery. But the guy is a very bright fella, and he certainly has a way with the English language.
He does.
Certainly.
Yes.
So Roger Waters basically has commented that he hangs out with Davos, and anybody who doesn't know what that is, that's like they meet in Switzerland, and it's world powers, and it's all stuff. Bono goes to the left side, to the right side. He goes to whomever he can to figure out a way to eradicate AIDS. And yes, the One and the Red organizations that he has started have been under fire for, as all charities tend to do. They have growing pains on how to disperse the funds and who gets paid. I think it is kind of interesting to find out that CEOs of charities make a lot of money, because you would
nice.
It's not nice. You would think
we never like that.
No, you would think that if you work for a nonprofit, that you work for certainly a decent wage to live your life, but for people to be compensated in the millions sounds crazy. So he's taking care of that kind of business. But Roger basically says that Bono's done nothing. And my argument is Roger's done nothing other than bitch about Palestine and Israel. He doesn't really go out there and do anything. He just talks about it. He is a provocateur. And I like provocateurs, and I agree with him on all of that. However, he's not in the trenches. He's not given or procured hundreds of millions of dollars for AIDS relief in Africa, or the people of Sarajevo, or the things. I think Bono, for all of the head up his own assery that the guy does do, listen, he likes to hear himself talk. We know this. Yes. However, the guy puts his money where his mouth is. And he does do a lot of great stuff. Bono does a lot of great stuff. Roger kind of just sits in his armchair and goes, I like this, and I don't like that. And I like this, and I don't like that. but he doesn't really. You don't see him in the trenches the same way. So I think his heart's in the right place because I love Roger and I don't want anybody to think I don't. However, I think he needs to treat Bono with a little bit softer kid gloves because Bono really has put his heart on his sleeve for all these.
Yeah, he's taken. Look, Bono they have a lot in common, the two of them, because they're political writers or sociological writers, if you will. They're both people who write about stuff that's important. Shit, you two got famous off Sunday Bloody Sunday and Pride in the Name of Love. These are political songs, political commentary. I always find it funny when people go, I went to a U2 gig and Bono talked about politics too much. I'm like,
have you not been paying attention ever?
So burn all your U2 records, you idiot, because it's been always about that. But yeah, the band got so massive and so influential. He used that power, that influence to then step into bigger arenas. And next thing he's meeting with world leaders and so on. I don't fault him for that. I know the Irish do. The Irish have a fucking bee in their
The Irish always do that.
They always do. They hate
fuck
their
him
own, right?
and his lot.
Yeah, they hate their own. Right? The Irish hate their own. That's just the
fucking
Irish
nerve
thing.
on that fucker. From
Yeah.
Who the hell is he thinking? Go back to your pub and talkie and have a
Yeah. There's always that shit. But it's true that Bono has been active. Probably more. You're probably right. Yeah, a lot more than Roger.
Roger talks about it, and like I said, Roger's brilliant, and we are such devotees of Roger. We love him, and we do believe in his causes. However, he's not a frontline guy. Bono is very much the guy. You see him in the fucking hazmat gear, and you've seen him in Africa. You've seen him in Ebola. You've seen him. This is a guy, yes, he's worth $600, $700, $800 million. Good for him. He's earned it.
By Nathaniel again, I was always fantastic comments by Nathaniel, one of the great brains of our hive mind here.
Yeah.
Red, product red, like when you buy a red iPhone, product red, etc., was started by Bono. Yeah. Red One is Nadir.
Because I said Red One, I meant Red, comma.
Okay.
Red is a charity that makes iPods and iPhones in the Red electronics, and the proceeds go to the Red Foundation. One is another thing formed by Bono, a completely different charity, but I believe that they are now under the same umbrella. And Bono is never ending in his philanthropic work. Roger's like the guy in the chair. Get off my lawn, Jews. You Israelis,
no, he wouldn't say Jews.
They wouldn't say Jews because he loves.
That was unfair.
It was unfair.
Stand back from that comment.
I stand back.
Never say that.
He would never say that.
You kidding me?
Like is Zionists. He would say.
Yeah. Thank you. It's a big difference.
It's a big,
and a lot of the world is recognizing that difference, including the woke modern youth. By the way, you should be happy at least for that. Bono, it's an interesting thing. Here's a point as well. You know, what would we be like? Like Bono, how many millions does he have in the bank?
He's got close to 800 million. He was a big early his Elevation Partners, which is his divestment group, invested in Facebook early on. So he made a lot of money off of Facebook's IPO.
You know, what would we be like, me and you, Dirk?
With that money?
With that money, would we be on a beach just drinking Petrus? Or would we be out there fighting the fight for refugees and showing up at, camps and,
I wouldn't be doing it for people. There? I'd be doing it for animals. I don't give a fuck about people.
Oh, yeah.
And I've said this 1,000 times. Yeah. I don't care. I would take a good chunk of my money. I'd get together with my sisters. My family were all big into saving all the street urchins. I'd want to create one of the best places for unwanted pets to go to.
Because it's a good question. Like, what are the people going to do with the money? It comes to a certain point. I think some people earn so much money and so much power. Certain ones just go, fuck it, I'm just going to sit back. And some go, you know what? I'm not. I'm gonna get up in the morning and I'm gonna fight for people who can't find clean drinking water, or have to walk 40 miles for
Right.
it,
Right.
or whatever. Like they give their life a little bit more purpose. Is it a need they have to validify the millions that they own?
Some do.
Is it a thing that they just they need to like? Oh my God, there was a quote I heard recently like that. You can never, you should die ashamed if you don't leave a mark in the world, or something to that effect.
Most of us do not.
Most of us don't. And if you have that kind of influence and power, are you going to give back? Are you going to give to the world? Are you going to do anything? You know, rather than it be for you. We understand the basic needs. You got to feed your family. You got to take care of basic things. But at a certain point, at what point do you say, okay, now I've done enough for me. I'm good. I'm good. Everything's taken care of. Now let me push in the other direction and let me give back to the world. Let me help.
I think that's what Bono's always done, pretty much. I think he's always had his sights. Because you look at him early on, he's been doing it since the beginning. He really has always done it.
Yeah, he's been singing songs for the people without a
underrepresented
voice.
Always. Right. I mean, look at all these incredible, the earlier work of U2. I mean, the battle cries. I mean, people, do you know how many people had no fucking idea? Dr. Phil has no fucking clue that his entire Irish heritage was an oppressed people. Right. He thinks, now we're Irish, we were great. We've never been oppressed by anybody. So I think Roger, as he said,
maybe that's fueled by the fact that when the Irish came to America, they were treated like shit at first. We all know that.
Irish need not apply.
Yeah. No dogs, no Irish, right?
No dogs, no Irish. Yeah.
In the bars.
Well, but is he just ignorant to all of that?
Eventually, the Irish became the cops and the firemen and the politicians, and they worked their way into stuff. They put their head down. They didn't complain. They fucking put their head down. They put their head down. They could start working. That's the Irish thing. An Irish man without a job is the saddest thing.
Yep.
The saddest thing on earth. I'll never forget with my daughter's mom, Italian. She, when we were in Ireland years ago, of course, we have the dole, right? We have if you're out of work, you get, what do they call it? Social welfare.
The dole.
We call it the dole.
Unemployment.
Unemployment, yeah.
Welfare.
So it helps you. Welfare, and you collect it every week or every month or whatever to help you, get by, because we have a socialist system there, social democratic system. And I remember her saying, this is nice, this is good, this helps, but if this existed in Italy, we don't have this in Italy. They won't give you money for being unemployed, or if they do, it's a fucking pain in the ass and it's impossible to get, because the Italians would literally never work. They would if they got $160 a week for not working, they would find a way how to just not do anything, and they just sit and live off of that. Whereas the Irish guy was shame. Because I was in my early 20s, and without work for certain periods of time, you collect the dole, and it's just a certain level of shame to stand on the dole line. Yeah, the guy in Oasis, was it Liam, who was on the dole line? One of the Gallagher brothers.
Isn't he on it now?
No, but one of his last things he said to the dole, officer or whatever, I just signed a 6-album deal. Ta-ra, goodbye. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Goodbye. But there's a certain level of shame. The working man, it doesn't matter if he has to shovel shit on the street, he's still got a job. Having a job was the most important thing. Certain people the Irish and the English, I think, as well, to their credit, you need a job. Any job, it's your your valor as a man. It's your worth, your self-worth as a man. It doesn't matter how meager the job is. The Italians are very different. It's like, why would I work? I can sit back and drink spritz and smoke cigarettes, and stare at girls' asses, and the government will pay for it. Therefore, there is no decent dole in in Italy, because don't give them an excuse not to work. They won't fucking do it. It's a different psychology. A lot of Italians think they have much in common with the Irish, but actually, they really, at the core of it, they don't. I think that Bono comes from that, and Roger, they come from that idea of the working class, the struggling, and all of that. They have so much in common. It breaks my heart to know that they've come to, or at least Roger has big. I
think Roger's a little jealous. I think Roger sees Bono being a little bit more proactive and getting a little bit more result. And I just think the difference is that Roger is so anti-establishment, whereas Bono will probably go to anybody.
I feel like Bono's a tad more realistic.
He is more realistic.
These men are in power.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not. So I'm gonna rub shoulders with them and try to save the world. Whereas Roger's like, burn it all down.
Yeah, burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
He'd probably go to Saudi Arabia and have a chit chat with that cunt, because he'll get him what he wants. Meanwhile, that guy's like murdering everybody in town. Terrible. But with a high profile picture of the guy who wrote Pride in the Name of Love, maybe he can get X amount of billions of this, that, or the other. Whereas Roger would be just like, no, incinerate him. I think Bono's smarter in that regard, where Roger was very upset that that Bono had a summit with George W. Bush.
Right.
I remember the cowboy president. Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a big problem. But Bono was very forthright. He's like, listen, I understand all that. You don't agree with his politics, but this guy had the ability to open up doors where I needed to walk through, which is so realistic. If you want to be
Kyle
smart.
D says, even America has welfare. Sure, yes, it does. Of course it does.
Yeah.
And it has Medicaid and so on. America is actually an amazing social democratic country. It just doesn't want to. It doesn't want to advertise that it is, but it actually is. They take care of the poor and the needy and the people. America's an amazing place for that. They just don't want to tell anyone, because certain people want to tout themselves as they do or die, sink or swim kind of culture. Now, America, actually, they do a lot for it. They're poor and they're needy. They do. It goes between the lines and so on. Medicaid has been around for a long time.
Forever. Yeah.
A lot of us hit hard in America. I do plenty of times. But you know what? In many cases, it is a social democratic country. It's just somewhat ashamed of being that way, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. The firefighters of America, think about them. They're working off of taxpayer money. They're not asking you for a credit card when they're putting out the flames in your house. These are the greatest, bravest men in America, and they're working off of socialism practically, basically. So don't get me started. Nathaniel, $5. Nathaniel, man, you get to be part of the conversation for $5 and $2 at a time. I love it. You're like, I've got about $90 to spend this evening. Let me just drip it out so I can. It's good. I love it though. I mean, your conversations are, your comments are brilliant. So when the Trappist monks of Kentucky, here we go with this guy. Look, this guy's encyclopedia.
This is a guy with some seriously psychotic intellect.
Unbelievable. When the Trappist monks of Kentucky were discriminated against, they became volunteer fire department. Look at that. We wound up in the same subject almost. Within a decade, they were service equals respect. Look at that. Mr. Badgas, no one works, drinks, fights, sings, and suffers like the Irish. And I mean that in the best way. Yeah, the Irish, what's the line in the Departed? The Departed, where I'm Irish, I'll live with something being wrong for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
That's Irish. Yeah, we just understand our plight and we go, okay, fuck it. It's like years ago when the Brexit thing was beginning and everybody was asking me, like, what do you think of the Brexit thing? I was like, I'm Irish. We've dealt with all the fucking shenanigans of the Brits for 800 years. Let us know what the damage is. We'll be at the pub down the street. Let us know what the damage is. in the end, I found out what the damage was in almost a personal way. That's another discussion through the watch thing. But yeah,
Dad, you can get on our Patreon. We don't have a Patreon.
I do though on my.
You have a Patreon, maybe on your Patreon.
A lot of my Patreons are fucking disappearing. By the way,
are they?
Yeah, they're losing the love. I don't know what it is.
Where is the
They're
love?
They're losing sight. They're losing sight of it. They don't understand that I'm doing all this practically for free. Most of it, and they're not. I don't know. There was a lot of passion before. Maybe the economy.
I mean, you still make art films.
Yeah, I still do.
Isn't that why that they love your channel?
Dude, I just made the Uranus, the moon swatch. I'm gonna watch the Uranus tonight. It's got the shittest views of any video. Leaving it up is gonna hurt my channel.
Why?
Because the views are so abysmal.
Why? What do they want? They want Lenny?
Some of them want Lenny. Some of them want Rolex stuff. A lot of them just reject the moon swatch. I rejected too. If they watch the video, they'd understand that it ain't about the moon swatch. It's about the planets. But it's just,
that was one of my favorite videos you ever did. I thought it was gorgeous. I loved it so much. I fucking wrote that letter to him, to the guy from Swatch. I just thought, wow, you guys, I was so moved by it. I'm so moved by the planets. It's my passion. And I'm so moved by Omega.
Right.
And I was like, ooh, Sheen gets me.
That was what we were excited about when they first came out. We thought, oh, well, these are little toys, but they have a beautiful little theme. Isn't that lovely? The planets, these things are out there. Like, what a thing to base your watches on.
I'm gonna put my OnlyFans channel up with that.
But I'm getting hammered. A lot of people are jumping ship and so on. Somebody asked me recently on a different stream, I love Oisin's content. I love what he does, but the amount of work he puts in for what he gets back, is it sustainable? And my answer was no, it's not. It's not sustainable. Eventually, I will have to stop because there's too much art, there's too much work, and there's I'd make way more if I sat here in this seat, with the TV in the background, and just talked. Did a Jenny L. Just sat there and chatted, because
unlike the other channels, don't do that. All the other channels do that.
They do.
Don't do that.
I don't. No.
Yeah.
I don't. I made up a little kind of joke thing. I'm not going to put it out because it's demeaning to the other channels. But remember when I changed the name of the channel?
Yeah.
And I did a little montage at the end to the Johnny Cash song, Hurt. It's not his song, it's Nine Inch Nails, but his version. And it's me, it's a montage of me in the mountains, me out in the different towns and different places and in the rain trying to get a shot and all sorts of, it's like a montage of like all the shit that's gone on. And then I did one with the same music with Jenny. And it's just her at the same table, ding ding, in beat with the music, and it's her at the same table.
Oh wow.
In the same position. It's like, don't you see, like, one is okay, maybe you like her and you like the channel and what she's saying, but don't you see the extraordinary disparity, the chasm between the effort of one channel and the other? No. I got questions about it today, like why the fuck? And I'm like, because it doesn't belong on YouTube. This stuff doesn't, in the wrong place.
Maybe you should just go find some great fake watches and just do another episode on fake watches, because that was your biggest one ever.
I did too. One got 30,000 views, the other one got 2.2 million.
2.2 million.
It's a algorithm thing. That's all it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, maybe I can extend your answer there. Maybe I should just sit back and go and put out a video every 2 days going, what I think of the new Tudor Pelagos, the watch I could care least about on earth.
Yeah.
And go, my thoughts on the Tudor Pelagos, and just sit here and pontificate about it rather than go out in the rain. I went on for one of the Zero West videos, I went on the beach with 40-mile-an-hour winds. I had 2 umbrellas, one for the camera and one for me. They were both destroyed in 5 minutes. I came back. People were looking at me on the boat. It covered, like they thought, did he just swim in the in the Adriatic? Like, because I was so drenched, and the watch and the camera are destroyed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but we don't live in that world.
Art? What price art?
Right, exactly.
What price art?
So it isn't sustainable. Eventually, I will
start his OnlyFans channel.
I'll start an OnlyFans. I'll pull out my dick, and that'll be that. I'll be like, there you go. That's what you wanted.
That's what you wanted. That's what you're gonna get. Oh Lord.
Anyway.
2 hours.
It's fine. It's fine as long as we're over 2 hours. It's fine as long as the patrons are there.
Yeah.
But when they start dwindling, it's like, well, okay, guys. I mean,
everybody join Oisin's Patreon, because you want the art, you want the beautiful cinematography, you want the watch in the cities, you want to see all that stuff. You don't want to see some girl picking her nose at a desk. It's boring, because anybody could do that. Join his Patreon today. Is my public service.
And God knows a lot of people who are watching are big supporters, but it's funny. If everyone gave $1, shit, that would be a lot, but it would make it very much worthwhile. But unfortunately, the true believers just are few and far between. Derek W. 499. I hope you get something more out of making the videos than views and YouTube cash. I do. I get a lot of. I make that decision, Derek. I think you know that. I make the decision. I go, shit, should I put in that music because it's going to demonetize the video? Fuck it, I'll do it. And I just do it. So I put the art before the money, of course. Sure. There's only so much you can do,
But you also have to realize that when you do that, it's a full-time job. So you're not going and, punching the clock. So the views and the cash, help you to expedite the whole art. Whereas, like I've always said, I've never made a whole lot of money out of the music thing, and I've always kept a day job because you know what? I like being able to pay my rent. I don't like the unknown. I don't like it. And you know what? He's been very successful with the YouTube channel, and you would hope that people would understand that the art is a full-time job. And that's.
I'll make a video out of it soon. I think some people just need to be reminded, like, did you enjoy that? It's not enough to just upvote. Like, I ain't earning it. Like, if you're really into. Otherwise, I just lower the quality of the content by like 1,000%. I sit here, I do no effort at all, and I just chat about Tudor Pelagos. Sorry, I have a gripe with Pelagos. It's like the watch I don't care about.
I would never want a Tudor. It's like, I mean, like I got this because I can't afford a Rolex. Fuck. I mean,
it's gone into its own thing.
It hasn't. It's like, fuck. I couldn't get a Submariner, so I have this. It's all right?
No, don't be like that.
I don't know. It's not that good. It's like, this isn't Versace, it's Versace, but I got it on sale.
Yeah, Lakari is making a good point. I need to focus more on the patrons and give them extra shit that they don't get from the channel.
Yeah,
it's a very good point. But with me, giving them extra stuff is like, everything's such an undertaking with me. I'm not just gonna go, here's me with a iPhone. I'm gonna make a thing with music and a production, and it's gonna take a week or 10 days out of my life. Like that Bologna video. I mean, it left me wrecked.
Left you with COVID.
It left me with COVID. Did you watch the thing, by the way? Did you like it? Did you watch Bologna?
Loved it.
What'd you think of all the food and everything?
I loved every second of it because, Italy is my porn star. Yeah. Everything about it. Because I've never spent any time in Bologna at all other than in the train station.
Right.
Never.
Right.
I've never ventured out.
Interesting.
And it just looked like, with all the what is the word for those, all the overhangs? What do you call those?
Portici.
The Portici. That was beautiful. I was like, oh, yeah, I'd love to go there. I'd love to go anywhere.
There's 666 of them. They go up to the and
the number of the beast.
Yeah, the number of the beast. Apparently, he had a gripe. The architect building
so he did it on purpose.
He did it on purpose. He entered on the number of the beast. I didn't put that in the video, but it's in there.
I'd love to see Bologna. Yeah, it was beautiful, and the food looked outrageous. I mean, I don't eat meat sauce, but it looked good. And the tortelloni looked.
You could have the tortelloni and no, the brodo.
No, I could have that. I saw that plate. I have no problems eating in Italy. None.
Right.
None at all.
Right. You'll find the right stuff.
I have no problems eating there.
There's lots of cheese.
There's lots of cheese. Yeah. Tortelloni, with
ricotta,
mozzarella, ricotta, scamorza, all that. Fine. Yes.
And all the wines, Emilia Romagna, they have, and I said it to, Lydia and her mom, and they were like, yeah, Emilia Romagna is at the perfect meeting point between the south and north of Italy. They have all the shit.
That's why the Marche gets no fucking love at all.
The Marche has great food, though.
It does, but it's right next to Emilia Romagna. What do they make in Emilia Romagna? What do they make there? Parmigiano Reggiano.
You walk into a big Parmigiano place, there's fucking everything. The places where just like the food culture there is so strong. There's so much. It's so much of everything. It's just they have it all. They have all the good shit from everywhere. The wine place had everything. Sure. They had Piemonte. They had Toscana. They had all the stuff. It was good.
Yes, please, all.
Yeah.
Tutti.
Yeah.
Good tutto. Stuff.
You would say tutto.
Tutto, right? Tutto.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, it was a hard video to make. It was a hard video to make because I had COVID for the first half of it, and then I had to go back, and I realized I didn't film enough, and I had to go back and blah blah blah. I'm feeding myself Negronis just to get through a conversation.
Not a Negroni, Spagliato. With Prosecco.
She fucked up Negronis. She fucked up forever.
The world.
Who is that woman?
She's some twat from like Game of Thrones Redux.
I like a Negroni. Spagliato.
I tweeted to her and I said, now that you've properly fucked up an entire generation of people pronouncing a drink, how about you make it right? It's not Spagliato, it's Spagliato.
Spagliato.
Yeah.
It's like it's like Watch Gurus saying Vacheron Constantine. You just fucked. Like 300,000 people are going to start saying it that way now because they think you're the expert. You idiot! Stop saying it wrong.
With
Spagliato. By the way, is a Spagliato? Is that with Prosecco?
With Prosecco. So you don't have to say with Prosecco. A Spagliato has Prosecco. It's not a Spagliato with Prosecco. It's a Negroni, and instead of gin, it has Prosecco.
Oh, they replaced the gin.
It's a broken Negroni. You've had them. We've drank them in Vicenza. Or did we drink them with Emmett? I don't know.
I've had Corretto. I've had Corretto, and I've had Padovano. Padovano is when they add sparkling water to it. They water it down. But they go on the Padovani the whole night. They're basically drinking Negronis watered down the whole night. Think about the Padovani.
Hardcore, I mean, it's basically just a Negroni. Instead of the gin, it's Prosecco. So it's not as lethal. I mean, the night the kids got trapped, we were with, the family and everybody got trapped in an elevator. It was minor, but it was scary. We were sitting outside in that little cafe in Vicenza, and we were drinking Spagliati. And it was fucking. It's the first time I'd ever had them. It was like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and now it's Negroni Spagliato with Prosecco, and that's what everybody's saying. So I'm texting every guy on YouTube, going, no.
Spagliato.
Stop saying Spagliato. Come on, try harder. Just try harder.
Look, pronunciations are a tough thing,
but it's not. It's Spagliato. It's easy.
Think about French. How many
French? It's not we. It's wow. Especially in French porn. Wow.
I love how they say "fuck" in French.
How do they say?
Damn.
I don't know.
It's the second half of putain.
Oh, damn.
Putain is fuck.
Oh,
In French, putain is whore, right?
yeah.
Putana, right?
Yeah.
Putana, putain, and they don't even bother. They just go bam,
Man.
which I
It's like,
love.
wow.
It's so
They don't say
lazy.
we, like they're about to climax. Like they'll go we, they go wah, wah, wah.
I love languages, man. It's fucking great.
Yeah, language rules the world.
I will say one thing about Bologna, though. I had it in the video and then I removed it because I was like, that's such a dick thing to say. But it's the eye basher, so I can say dick things, right?
Totally.
These are not pretty Italians.
No.
It's not a pretty town.
They ugly.
They ugly. They like Sean Combs said. They about Richard Mille. They ugly.
They ugly.
I got 3, and I don't wear them because they ugly.
They ugly.
They're not a pretty Italian at all. My God.
I mean, you can say that about people. I mean, are we so? I told you I went to the Algarve and everybody looks like this.
Your video just froze with you like that.
That'll be the new meme. They're like everybody's got like big heads and no arms, but giant hands and little feet. And like,
man, I was looking at them going, whoa.
Yeah,
I'm used to
Faccia bruta.
Tuta bruta, Jesus Christ, corpo bruto, fucking faccia bruta. Like, just, the intellectual, maybe the intellect of Italy, but not.
Somebody wants to hit that.
They do. Well, it's all about what you have, the fish you have in your own pond, right?
Sure it is.
You know what I mean? You got what you got in your town. So that's it. So you lower your bar, maybe.
He may not be Mr. Right. Fuck it.
I was having this conversation with a guy here in Venice recently, and he goes, the Venetians, the girls, not so great. And I was like, yeah, but better than Bologna. Bologna is like, I mean, cool. Like, they're cool people and all, but fuck me. Like, it was rough.
Every town's got their beauties. I'm sure there's some Bolognese girl that is just.
I saw 2, and I wanted to film 2, and I wanted to stop and say, "You're the prettiest girl I've ever seen here. Can I film you?" And ask you, like. But then I thought that's creepy and weird. How's that going to look? I'm not going to do that. But it was very odd, and that's not something I'm used to initially. They're very beautiful people in this country, Yeah. Apart from the style. By the way, when I went to Milan with Lydia, my God.
Forget it. Everybody's tall, beautiful, and the style.
The style is outrageous.
The style's crazy.
Everyone's gorgeous. Oh my God. Beautiful people.
Is that
everywhere.
you? You're home? All right. Just check.
All right. We're finishing up.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure somebody was feeding the cat.
All right, guys. Thanks for. Let me get to the last couple of super chats here. So, Derek,
yeah.
I hope you got something more out of making the videos. Yes, I did.
Yes,
I certainly do. I do all the time. And you think I'm waiting for money out of the channel? You think that's my thing? No, it's all about what I want to make the video about. So you're right. And again, Derek W, $4.99. Thank you so much. We go elsewhere for our dose of Solient Green.
It's made from people.
Rob Morrison, $1.99. Enjoyed learning so much about Uranus today. Great, man. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to watch it after I watch Fetch, I confess. Because it's streaming now. The John Hamm doing Fletch.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to watch that. It's on the Prime now for free.
Mark Girard makes a good point. It might be worth putting out some content that is lower effort mixed in with the artsy stuff. You used to hear or there, and it worked. Okay. Yeah, I will. I'll fight the YouTube algorithm as much as I can. Nathaniel, 12th of November, 21. Machine check in to
12th of November,
London Hilton.
When Machine got COVID in London.
Yeah. Wow, it was
He
fun.
was drinking COVID away.
Thanks to Nathaniel, actually, I got through that
Yeah.
half decent. So thanks to him. Great
Thank you,
supporter.
Carlos.
I can't complain about the great supporters of the channel. Carlos Ramirez, $5. Some love from Texas. Thank you so much. I love
Thank you.
Texans. I love every Texan I know. I love Brianna Sage, singer songwriter, lovely person. Brett Bass, great bass player.
Kelly Clarkson.
I
I
love
don't know.
Texans.
I don't know her.
I love Texans.
Janis Joplin.
Mr. Bad Gas, $5. Patron alert. Why not already? No idea. Well, thank you guys. If you want to become patrons,
Do it.
It ain't enough money to. It's not. It's never going to be much, but it's enough to go. Okay, I'll keep going. That's all it is.
Keep it going. Keep it in the pipeline if you like art. If you like art, be a patron. If you don't like art, join us here at iBashes, where you might be a cunt.
All right, guys. Good chat. Thanks, Dirk.
Thank you, Oisin.
Let's do.
And thanks everybody for coming in. Thanks. Sorry we took so long, but we had issues.
Friday.
We had a couple of things going on. I had to go to a wedding. You had stuff to do. You had editing. We had stuff. Life.
Life kicked in.
Life kicked in. Sorry, but we're back, and we'll be here for you. And thanks very much.
All right. I'll see you next week, brother.